Chapter 962. Xiao Wendy, you stole the treasure I wanted again. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test seeing the slaughter, doppelganger stop attacking, and stand unconsciously beside Xiao Wendy. Yi Qinfeng helplessly sighed in his heart. He slowly walked over and said, You owe me this. Xiao Wendy rolled her eyes at Yi Qinfeng. Didn't you say you only want the Nirvana heart? Yi Qinfeng said helplessly, Can't I change my mind again? Don't you know women are fickle? Xiao Wendy showed her cute canine teeth and said flirtatiously, And I know you are not a stingy person. You are wrong. I am a stingy person. Yi Qinfeng looked at Xiao Wendy's pretty face and said, You stole Star Emperor's slaughter, doppelganger. How are you going to compensate me? I will compensate you with myself. Do you dare to take it? Xiao Wendy's eyes showed a trace of craftiness. Really? Yi Qinfeng's eyes widened in shock. You see, I gave you a chance, but you didn't want it. I know you are not a stingy person. I will gladly accept this slaughter, doppelganger. Xiao Wendy looked at Yi Qinfeng's widening eyes and said with a smile. Then, without waiting for Yi Qinfeng to speak, she pressed her bleeding finger between the slaughter doppelganger's eyebrows and forced it to recognize her as the owner. In the next moment, the slaughter doppelganger made by Star Emperor from Gudao treasure became smaller and smaller until it was the size of a finger. It went into Xiao Wendy's mouth and disappeared. Let's go, generous man, let's go inside. Other than the Nirvana heart, I can let you pick 3 treasures first. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's unkind expression, Xiao Wendy said with a smile, Sigh, Xiao Wendy, your face is thicker than mine. Yi Qinfeng sighed helplessly. Although the slaughter doppelganger was precious, it was not very attractive to Yi Qinfeng. In terms of potential, Gudao treasure's slaughter doppelganger was not comparable to the sword puppet. I will take it as a compliment. After saying this, Xiao Wendy swung her jet-black, waterfall-like long hair and moved her slender legs, walking towards the end of this dark space. When they reached the end of the imperial mausoleum along a dark stone path, Yi Qinfeng noticed that there were many lifelike pictures on the walls around them. When Yi Qinfeng and Qinggu Qiu looked at these images, they discovered that these images seemed to possess a demonic nature. With just a single glance, they were unable to extricate themselves, and strange images appeared in their minds. Powerful. The number 1 person in the Xingluo continent was indeed frightening. Yi Qinfeng's eyes were filled with illusionary Dao patterns, dispelling the demonic gravitational force in the mural. He didn't dare to look at it any longer and followed Xiao Wendy, who closed her eyes tightly and walked to the end of the imperial mausoleum. A bronze coffin. At the end of the royal mausoleum, which had a large number of murals, there was a bronze coffin. Although the thick layer of dust on top of the coffin suggested that it had been there for hundreds of thousands of years, Yi Qinfeng still felt his heart palpitate when he saw the bronze coffin. It was as if there was a great danger hidden in the coffin, and opening it without permission would endanger one's life. However, when Xiao Wendy saw the bronze coffin and sensed the aura it emitted, a look of excitement appeared on her face. She knelt on the ground and respectfully kowtowed 3 times. It seemed that the person lying in the coffin was a legend of the Xingluo continent, as well as the number 1 person in the history of the Xingluo continent, the Star Emperor. What kind of inheritance did the Star Emperor leave behind in the coffin? Yi Qinfeng revealed a trace of curiosity, and he had Qinggu Qiu wait on the spot while he prepared to open the coffin with Xiao Wendy. Xiao Wendy, let's open the coffin. Yi Qinfeng and the solemn Xiao Wendy walked to the side of the bronze coffin. Yes. Xiao Wendy nodded. At the same time, she extended her hand, wanting to open the bronze coffin. What a terrifying restriction! When Yi Qinfeng and Xiao Wendy tried to open the lid of the bronze coffin, not only were they unable to open it, there wasn't even the slightest gap. This caused Yi Qinfeng to reveal a shocked expression. One had to know that Yi Qinfeng's physical strength had reached 25 million kilograms. No matter how heavy something was, it would be like a toy in his hands. However, even after pushing his physical strength to the limit, he still couldn't tear open the coffin lid. This caused him to reveal a deep sense of shock. "Let me try with blood." Wendy pondered for a moment before biting her finger and pressing it against the lid of the bronze coffin. She and Yi Qinfeng were unable to open the coffin lid. She let her blood seep into the coffin. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After absorbing Yi Qinfeng's essence blood, the lid of the bronze coffin became restless. The restriction sealing the coffin mysteriously disappeared, and Yi Qinfeng effortlessly opened the lid. He saw a white skeleton wearing a starry robe with ancient runes lying in the coffin in Yi Qinfeng's sight. There wasn't a trace of life or flesh. Dao runes. There were many Dao runes engraved on the skeleton. Looking at the white skeleton, Yi Qinfeng discovered that there were many Dao runes engraved on the surface of the skeleton. It was obvious that this person had cultivated the Dao intent to an extremely profound degree when he was alive, which was why he was able to engrave Dao runes on the skeleton. If this skeleton was taken to the outside world, it would definitely be auctioned for a sky-high price. Even if Yi Qinfeng obtained the skeleton and comprehended it, he would be able to deepen his comprehension of the Dao intent. The magnificence of a generation surpasses the pride of heaven. After 10,000 years of glory, it is still a skeleton in the end. Ancestor, Winnie has come to see you. Looking at the skeleton in the coffin, Wendy's eyes turned red. She took a deep breath and stabilized her emotions. She spoke with mixed feelings. When Wendy stretched out her blood-stained right hand and touched the Star Sovereign skeleton, the large number of Dao runes on the skeleton suddenly exploded, turning into a large number of Dao runes that rapidly poured into her heart. In the next moment, the starry robe on the skeleton also shattered. The Nirvana heart that was covered with innate Dao runes appeared in front of the two of them. So powerful! Why do I feel that the Star Sovereign's Nirvana heart is even more powerful than the Heavenly Venerable lifeblood? Feeling the Dao intent contained in the Nirvana heart, Yi Qinfeng revealed a trace of surprise. Although the Heavenly Venerable lifeblood was only a drop of blood refined by the Heavenly Venerable, the Heavenly Venerable was after all a Dao Venerable expert. Regardless of strength or Dao intent, it should surpass the peak Star Sovereign. But when Yi Qinfeng saw the Star Sovereign's Nirvana heart, he felt that it was far more powerful than the Heavenly Venerable lifeblood. Could it be that the Star Sovereign wasn't a Nirvana Heavenly Venerable expert? His strength had surpassed the limit of this world and reached the Heaven Domain realm? Yi Qinfeng faintly felt that the Star Sovereign's strength was perhaps even more powerful than what was passed down in ancient times. He was definitely hiding a huge secret. When the Nirvana heart appeared, it immediately resonated with Wendy's bloodline. Wendy forced out a large amount of essence blood and sprayed it onto the Nirvana heart. After absorbing the essence blood, the Nirvana heart turned into a ray of light and fused into her body. Immediately, a large amount of starlight shone out of Wendy's body and engulfed her. When Wendy fused with the Nirvana heart, Yi Qinfeng walked to the empty bronze coffin and his eyes lit up. Universe ring, a universe ring. Seeing the dark gold universe ring lying in the corner of the coffin silence's coffin, Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up. He immediately picked up the ring and controlled the God-Eater brain to break the restriction and infiltrate it. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 963. 1 middle-grade Dao sword and 12 low-grade Dao swords. Yi Qinfeng's soul entered the universe ring. The first thing he found were 13 high-quality Dao swords covered with ancient patterns. Watermark advertisement. Test watermark advertisement. Test one of the Dao swords was a middle-grade Dao artifact, while the other 12 were low-grade Dao swords. In addition to these 13 Dao swords, he also obtained 2 middle-grade Dao artifacts and more than 10 porcelain bottles containing elixirs. However, because too much time had passed and they were not preserved properly, the elixirs in these porcelain bottles had long lost their efficacy and become useless elixirs. Jade slips. 3 jade slips. Yi Qinfeng found 2 jade slips in a large number of porcelain bottles. One of the jade slips was the horizontal slash that the slaughtered doppelganger had used. It had reached the level of a supreme-grade Dao skill. The second jade slip recorded a map of the outer area of sky beyond. It was also the thing that attracted Yi Qinfeng the most back then. Yes, this is, when Yi Qinfeng released his soul power into the third jade slip, he was suddenly stunned. His face was full of shock. This was the way to break through the shackles of the Duhan continent. In the Duhan continent, one could really break through the limits of the Duhan continent and reach the Dao Saint realm. Could it be that Star Emperor was not a Nirvana, heavenly realm expert back then, but had cultivated to the Dao Saint realm? Yi Qinfeng finally knew why Star Emperor's Nirvana heart was more powerful than the heavenly venerable blood. He also understood why Star Emperor dared to kill the divine race experts in the lower realm. His strength was even more terrifying than what the outside world said. However, he could not defy the heavens in the end. When he tore open the heaven realm gate, he was schemed against by the divine race and died in the end. The heavenly saint breaking pill was a pill that could break through the limits of the Duhan continent. As long as this pill was refined, one could break through the bottleneck and become a saint in the Duhan continent. However, it would not be easy to gather the spirit herbs needed to refine the heavenly saint breaking pill. It would be even more difficult to refine it. Yi Qinfeng quickly browsed through the heaven and earth spiritual herbs needed to refine the heaven and earth spiritual herbs, other than the 9-turn blood ginseng king. He had never heard of any other heaven and earth spiritual herbs. Yi Qinfeng memorized the herbs needed to concoct the heavenly saint breaking pellet and continued to look through the Star Emperor's belongings. However, because the Star Emperor had died too long ago, many of the treasures he collected back then couldn't withstand the baptism of time and were destroyed. However, the countless soul crystals in the universe ring were not damaged in the slightest. This wealth was enough for Yi Qinfeng to establish a holy land. What a powerful restriction. What is sealed in this jade box? At the end of the book, Yi Qinfeng found a jade box sealed with a powerful restriction. When he broke the restriction on the jade box, he found 5 heaven and earth spirit herbs filled with spirituality and a beast core of a saint beast. These were the 5 heaven and earth spiritual herbs needed to concoct the heavenly saint breaking pellet. Looking at the tiny words in the jade box, Yi Qinfeng was pleasantly surprised. He didn't expect the Star Emperor to actually leave behind 5 stalks of heaven and earth spirit herbs required to refine the heavenly saint breaking pellet and a rare saint beast's beast core in the Duhan continent. Because these 5 heaven and earth spiritual herbs and the beast core of a saint beast were too precious, the Star Emperor had injected a large amount of life energy into the jade box before he died. Ancient Heaven Xian Vine, Phoenix Blood Ganoderma, Sun God Flower. As long as I can find these 3 heaven and earth spiritual herbs, I will be able to gather all the herbs needed to concoct the heavenly saint breaking pellet. If I can break through to the divine saint realm in the Duhan continent, it will be much easier for me to tear open the gate of the heaven realm and ascend to the heaven realm. Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself. He thought that the map of the outer region of heavens beyond was his greatest reward in the Xinluo Imperial Mausoleum. However, he unexpectedly found the way to break through the shackles of the Duhan continent. This reward was very significant, and its value was immeasurable. If the pill formula of the heavenly saint breaking pellet was spread to the outside world, it would probably cause a huge commotion and shake the entire Duhan continent. The material of this bronze coffin was not simple, and if there was a chance in the future, he could use it to refine a Tao artifact. After moving the Star Emperor's remains into the universe mirror, Yi Qinfeng walked to the side of the bronze coffin and gently touched the surface of the coffin. The coffin was cold to the bone. It was made from a special material and weighed 1,000,000 kilograms. His eyes lit up, and he put it into the universe mirror as well. Sensing that Xia Wendy would not be able to fuse with the Star Emperor's heart of nirvana, Yi Qinfeng sat cross-legged at the end of the dark tomb. He controlled the power of the God-Eater brain and sent it into the first jade scroll to comprehend the horizontal sword slash. The horizontal sword slash was about killing with one strike. Although it was similar to the instant kill sword, its attacking power was 100 times stronger. It could unleash the power of the Tao intent to the extreme in an instant, making it impossible for the opponent to defend against. If Yi Qinfeng could comprehend the horizontal sword slash, he would have another great killing move to kill the enemy. Eliminating all distracting thoughts, Yi Qinfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the cultivation formula of the horizontal sword slash. Meanwhile, Xia Wendy, whose body was enveloped by the Star Tao intent, was also trying her best to fuse the power of the bloodline with the heart of nirvana. While the two of them were meditating and forgetting about time and space, Kong Sungqin and the other two had also obtained a great opportunity in the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. Although the opportunity they obtained was far less than that of Yi Qinfeng and the other two, it greatly increased their lifespan and slightly increased their strength. They were wild with joy and felt that this trip was not in vain. Just as Yi Qinfeng's group of 5 obtained a great opportunity in the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum, an intense battle was taking place outside the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. Sha Tianya and the Devil King led the experts from Xingluo Heavenly City, the True Demon Clan, and the Sun Luo Hall to the Imperial Mausoleum. When they saw that the entrance to the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum had been opened, they were furious. In their opinion, everything in the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum should belong to them. But now the Imperial Mausoleum had been taken by someone else, and the opportunity inside could be obtained by an outsider. All of their efforts had gone down the drain. They were so angry that they rushed into the Imperial Mausoleum without hesitation. Those who step into the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum will be killed without mercy. A thunderous roar resounded. The black god ant, with a tall and sturdy body that looked like a black tower, appeared at the entrance of the Imperial Mausoleum. It used its body to block Sha Tianya, the Devil King, and the others as it loudly warned them. Earthquake technique. When the black god ant saw that Sha Tianya and the others did not listen to its warning and insisted on barging in, it immediately used its killer move. A terrifying demonic energy was released from its sturdy body, causing the space around it to shake violently. It was as if a huge earthquake had occurred, and it swept towards the experts from the 3 major powers. Not good. Dodge. Sensing the terrifying power of the black god ant's attack, Sha Tianya, the Devil King, and the others' faces changed. They immediately used their movement techniques to dodge the attack. Sha Tianya and the others who were charging at the front managed to dodge the black god ant's attack. However, there were still many who were unable to dodge and were hit by the black god ant's earthquake technique. The frequency of the earthquake technique attack was extremely fast. In an instant, the explosive power violently bombarded their bodies, directly shattering their bodies and killing them on the spot. A sacred beast. This burly man was a sacred beast. Sensing the vast demonic energy released by the black god ant, Sha Tianya and the others' faces changed. Sacred beasts were almost extinct in the Xingluo continent, but they did not expect to meet one here. Who was the person who stole the key to the imperial tombs and opened the Xingluo imperial tombs? Sha Tianya, the Devil King, and the others' faces turned serious. They felt that the situation was out of their control. Just the low-grade, sacred, beast, black god ant in front of them was already very difficult to control. However, they were determined to obtain the opportunity in the Xingluo imperial tombs. Sha Tianya and the Devil King quickly communicated with each other and summoned their respective Tao treasures to attack the black god ant. "Since you guys want to die, I'll grant you your wish." When the black god ant saw the Tao treasures attacking it, it immediately transformed into its most terrifying battle form. It exploded with more than 200 million gene of strength and charged forward. It fought against the experts from the three major powers by itself. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 964. Art of Gu Fanqing Sha Tianya and Lian Xing quickly looked at each other. Both of them circulated their profound Tao incantations and fused their soul power and Tao intent together. They condensed numerous mysterious stars that were covered with innate Tao patterns. With a powerful impact force, they smashed towards the black god ant. The demon king and demon queen also made their moves at this moment. They used their terrifying devil arts and attacked the black god ant like a black tide. They wanted to heavily injure it. However, the black god ant was too powerful. It relied on its absolute strength to shatter Sha Tianya and the others' attacks. It quickly approached them, wanting to tear them apart. "Princess, should we help?" In a dark corner of the chaotic space, a tall and sturdy man in a blood-red robe looked at the black god ant that was unleashing its invincible might. He softly asked an eye-catching woman in a black dress beside him. She wore a silver mask and had a body as hot as poison. She was an eye-catching woman with a body as hot as poison. I think they should be able to deal with that saint beast. The lady, who looked like a dark elf, looked at the tomb door that the black god ant was guarding. She seemed to be deep in thought. This lady in a black dress was none other than the one who had a dispute with Yi Qinfeng, Shui Hanyan. The man in a blood-red robe beside her was the owner of a mortal island, Zhen Jiotong, who had just broken through to rank 6 combat beast emperor. "Princess, who do you think was the first to enter Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum? Could it be someone from the other 2 divine nations?" Zhan Jiotong asked with a frown as he looked at the black god ant that was getting stronger and stronger. It was suppressing Sha Tianya, the demon king, and the others. "Do you think it could be that Yi Qinfeng?" Shui Hanyan's eyes that were hidden behind the silver mask flashed with a sharp light as she said with interest, "It can't be, right? With his strength, how could he subdue a saint beast?" Zhen Jiotong said doubtfully, "Don't underestimate that Yi Qinfeng. He is more terrifying than you can imagine." Shui Hanyan had some understanding of Yi Qinfeng. She knew that he was hiding a lot of secrets that even she could not imagine. As he spoke, the black god ant that was displaying its might once again used the earthquake technique. More than 200 million gene of strength and demonic energy instantly erupted. It attacked Sha Tianya and the others at a rate of several hundred times per second. Crack! Crack! Under the shockingly powerful attack of the earthquake technique, the falling stars shattered one after another. The devil technique used by the Devil King and Devil Queen was also torn apart. The entire space fell into chaos. Flash after witnessing the might of the Black God Ant's attack, Sha Tianya and the Demon King's expressions changed. However, the Black God Ant's attack was too fast, and there were still several experts who couldn't dodge in time. They were crushed by the Black God Ant's earthquake technique, and not even their bones were left behind. Relying on his powerful strength, the Black God Ant did not follow up with another attack. He was like an invincible god of war, guarding the entrance of the Imperial Mausoleum. One man could hold off 10,000 men. Gu Fanqing Sha Tianya took a deep breath and suppressed the surging qi and blood in his body. He summoned Gu Fanqing and controlled this astonishingly powerful Gu Dao treasure to crash into Yi Qinfeng. Heavenly Tiger banner the instant the Gu Fanqing twisted space and crashed into Sha Tianya. the black-robed Demon King, also took out a Gu Dao treasure. The banner had a ferocious, heavenly tiger engraved on it. It quickly shook, condensing the image of a tiger and pouncing towards the black god Ant Boom. Boom! Boom! The two Gu Dao treasures attacked, but the black god Ant did not dodge. He swung his heavy fists and attacked the two Gu Dao treasures with heaven-shaking strength. Relying on his absolute strength and terrifying demonic energy, he forced the two Gu Dao treasures to retreat again and again. Too strong, this saint beast is too strong. If he gives up on guarding the entrance of the Imperial Mausoleum and recklessly charges over, he will definitely bring us a devastating disaster. Lian Xing frowned when she saw that Sha Tianya and the Demon King were unable to injure the Black God, and despite controlling the two Gu Dao treasures. What should we do? At this moment, the same thought appeared in everyone's mind. With the invincible Black God Ant guarding the entrance of the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum, they had no chance of entering the Imperial Mausoleum to obtain the great fortune inside. However, when they thought about the secret of the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum and the possibility that the Star Emperor's Nirvana heart was inside, they knew that they could not give up just like that. Otherwise, they would regret it for the rest of their lives. Old City, Lord Sha, do you have a good method to deal with that saint beast? The Demon King, who was emitting dense demonic energy, asked with a serious expression. That saint beast is too strong. If we want to injure it, we can only use the power of the formation to injure it. Sha Tianya said with a serious expression. You have the formation diagram? Although the Demon King also had a trump card that could turn the tides, he could only use it once. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he would not use it. Yes, I have the 4 directions killing formation diagram. If the 4 of us enter the 4 directions killing formation diagram, we should be able to suppress that saint beast. With the help of Hall Master Sun and the others, we should have a chance of killing it. In order to obtain the great fortune inside the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum, Sha Tianya had no choice but to reveal his trump card and take out a precious formation diagram. All right, let's enter the formation. Looking at the formation diagram that was floating above Sha Tianya's head and getting bigger and bigger, the Demon King and the Demon Queen, who were both level 6 combat beast emperors, quickly entered the formation. Sha Tianya and Lian Xing also entered the formation at the same time. The 4 of them took control of the north, south, east, and west respectively, and poured all of their soul power into the formation diagram. Immediately, boundless killing intent gushed out from the 4 directions killing formation, turning into a huge sword that could split the heavens and earth, slashing towards the Black God Ant Boom. The Black God Ant did not dodge as the huge sword of killing intent slashed towards him. Instead, he poured his terrifying strength and demonic energy into his right fist. He compressed his strength and demonic energy to the extreme and smashed the huge sword of killing intent with a punch. After the first slash, Sha Tianya and the other 3 borrowed the might of the formation diagram and continued to condense the huge sword of killing intent, slashing towards the Black God Ant. Layers of huge sword of killing intent slashed down ferociously, overlapping each other endlessly, clashing with the Black God Ant's attacks. The 2 of them fought intensely. For a moment, all sound in the world was swallowed up. The terrifying collision created a terrifying shockwave that exploded outside the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. The ground trembled violently, and countless boulders were shattered. Many cultivators who were not as strong were sent flying, vomiting blood from their heavy injuries, and collapsed in the forest thousands of meters away. 4 directions killing formation. 4 directions combined into one. Sha Tianya's soul power surged, and he gathered the killing intent from the 4 directions together, forming a peerless sword of killing intent. He tore through the void and ruthlessly slashed towards the Black God Ant Boom. After a loud explosion, the Black God Ant was forced back by the peerless sword of killing intent. A trace of blood flowed out from his fist, and the demonic energy in his body trembled violently. Lowly humans, you dare to injure me? I will tear you apart. The The black god ant was completely enraged by the injuries it received. It let out an uncontrollable roar and rushed towards the four directions, killing formation, while facing the incoming sword of killing intent. Attack! The Sun Luo Hall Master, Sun Ming, and the others, who had been waiting for an opportunity, did not waste the black god ant's opportunity to leave the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. They attacked at the same time, using their powerful Dao skills. They controlled their Dao treasures and heavenly treasures to attack the black god ant. For a moment, the entire space was filled with Dao shadows and soul lights. The Dao skills that came from all directions were like a giant mouth that swallowed the black god ant whole. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 965. Although the black god ant was strong, Sha Tinya's four directions killing array was extremely powerful. In addition to Sun Ming, the great demon envoy, and the black and white demon envoy's attacks, the black god ant's attacks were completely suppressed. Heaven rending and earth rending, the black divine ant went berserk after suffering the continuous destructive attacks. Monstrous demonic energy suddenly erupted, tearing apart the chaotic void. It was as if the heavens were falling and the earth was collapsing as it swept out in all directions, shattering the soul skills and Dao shadows that covered the sky and earth. In the next moment, the black god ant transformed into its true form. Its sharp, sickle-like teeth shone with a demonic light. Its huge body charged forward, crashing into the four directions, killing array. Absolute kill soared when the black god ant transformed into its true form. Sha Tinya's group immediately activated the four directions killing array and slashed out with absolute kill swords. Boom! 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 Sword after sword slashed down. The terrifying attacks shattered the black god ant's true form and forced it to fall to the ground. Let's go, we will enter the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. Shui Hanyan saw that the black god ant was being suppressed by the four directions killing array and was about to enter the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum with Jin Jiotong. Suddenly, 5 figures flew out from the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum. It's really you. Seeing Yi Qinfeng fly out of the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum, Shui Hanyan's beautiful eyes lit up. However, because she was wearing a silver mask, no one noticed a change in her expression. How dare you bully my contract beast? I will exterminate all of you today. Xia, Wendy saw the injured black god ant and was instantly enraged. A powerful killing intent was emitted from her body as she controlled the four beasts flag to meet the experts from the 3 major powers. When Xia, Wendy made her move, Sha Tinya's group also controlled their Dao artifacts to attack. Facing a mortal enemy, the 3 of them did not show any mercy. They used all of their skills and started a frenzied massacre. After finding their own opportunities in the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum, Kong Sungchin's group strength had clearly increased. Under their all-out attacks, the experts from the 3 major powers were constantly dying, completely disrupting the situation. Just as Yi Qinfeng summoned his heavenly halberd and wanted to join the battle, a blurry shadow blocked his path. Shui Hanyan, although Shui Hanyan was wearing a silver mask that covered her beautiful face, Yi Qinfeng recognized her identity at first glance. Yi Qinfeng, you've given me another surprise, Shui Hanyan said without a trace of emotion. Do you know that I am determined to get the Xingluo Imperial Mausoleum? I have planned for a long time to get the opportunity inside. Wishes are beautiful, but reality is cruel. Shui Hanyan, you have to learn to accept reality. Yi Qinfeng said indifferently. What if I don't want to learn? Shui Hanyan asked. You'll be pissed to death. Yi Qinfeng said sternly, not hesitating at all. Hee, Yi Qinfeng, long time no see. You're much more interesting than before. Shui Hanyan let out a series of crisp laughter. Suddenly, Shui Hanyan struck out a palm. Her soft and boneless hand exploded with amazing power, twisting the space and pressing towards Yi Qinfeng's chest. Shui Hanyan's palm was extremely sudden, but Yi Qinfeng reacted faster. He quickly overlapped his hand in front of his chest and met Shui Hanyan's palm attack head-on. His reaction was not slow. Shui Hanyan's aura suddenly surged. "Today, let me see how much your strength has improved." With that, Shui Hanyan shouted. The low-grade Taoist weapon, dancing butterfly sword, appeared in her hand. It intertwined into streaks of sharp sword shadows, like lifelike butterflies flapping their wings, enveloping Yi Qinfeng. Shui Hanyan attacked with all her strength. Yi Chen's wind trident burst forth. He brandished his Fengtian halberd, creating layers upon layers of halberd shadows. He continuously tore apart Shui Hanyan's attacks and fought fiercely with her. 6 yin-yang swords, while Yi Qinfeng was using brute force to break her technique. Shui Hanyan flicked her wrist, and the will of the yin-yang will of the great Tao erupted and fused into the dancing butterfly sword. Beams of yin-yang sword aura shot out, mixed with powerful will of the great Tao, cutting through everything in its path as it slashed towards Yi Qinfeng. 2 extremes, Tao of life and death, the 6 yin-yang swords attacked. Yi Qinfeng quickly struck out a palm. The terrifying Tao will of life and death gathered in his palm, forming a yin-yang Tao disc, constantly crushing the yin-yang swords and neutralizing the attacks. 2 extremes, Tao of life and death. It turns out that the person who snatched this supreme-grade Taoist skill is you. Shui Hanyan let out a surprised sound. "I should have known." "Why? Are you very surprised?" Yi Qinfeng asked with a faint smile. It was indeed surprising that you could cultivate a supreme-grade Taoist skill with an incomplete incantation. "Yi Qinfeng, you are more outstanding than I thought." Shui Hanyan was not stingy with her compliments, but she did not slow down her attack. She unleashed the yin-yang Tao will and sword Tao will to the extreme, attacking Yi Qinfeng with all her strength. She wanted to rely on her advantage in cultivation to suppress him. However, after breaking through to the level 4 combat Beast Emperor realm, Yi Qinfeng's strength became extremely terrifying. Life and death Tao will, 5 elements Tao will, heaven and earth Tao will constantly gushed out of his body, strengthening his attacks as he fought fiercely with Shui Hanyan. Because Yi Qinfeng's comprehension of Tao will was too deep, he borrowed the power of Tao will to fight evenly with Shui Hanyan, who was a level 6 combat Beast Emperor. While Yi Qinfeng and Shui Hanyan were fighting fiercely, Xia Wendy was standing on top of the Black God Ant, fighting fiercely with Sha Tinya and the other 3 who had formed the 4 sides killing formation. 4 Beasts flag for Beast's frenzy. Xia Wendy poured her Tao will and soul power into the 4 Beasts flag, controlling it to spin rapidly, forming the shadows of an azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. They roared and attacked the 4 sides killing formation. After fusing with the Nirvana heart, Xia Wendy had reached the limit of a level 5 combat Beast Emperor. Her strength had become even more terrifying. Controlling the 4 Beasts flag to attack brought great pressure to the 4 sides killing formation. In addition to the Black God Ant's ferocious attacks, Sha Tinya and the other 3 couldn't hold on any longer. Cracks appeared on the formation diagram under their feet. Heavenly Mountain Tao talisman the Black God Ant rammed with all its strength, forcing the 4 sides killing formation to retreat. Xia Wendy took out the Heavenly Mountain Tao talisman, controlling this Gu Tao treasure to grow bigger and bigger. It was like a towering mountain, fiercely pressing down, smashing towards the 4. Gu Fanqing Sha Tinya's expression changed. He multitasked, controlling Gu Fanqing to crash into the Heavenly Mountain Tao talisman, blocking the mountain-like pressure. Star Tao diagram, life and death Tao diagram attack. Xia Wendy never showed mercy to her enemies. When the Heavenly Mountain Tao talisman was blocked by Gu Fanqing, Xia Wendy's star Tao diagram and life and death Tao diagram appeared in her hands. With destructive power, she fiercely attacked the four sides killing formation. Boom, boom. After receiving Xia Wendy's all-out attack, more cracks appeared on the four sides killing formation. The powerful dual Tao intent shook Sha Tinya and the other three, causing their attacks to be interrupted. Heaven falling and earth rending at this moment. The Black God and also launched its strongest attack. Its terrifying demonic energy shattered the void and bombarded the four sides killing formation. With a loud boom, the four sides killing formation, formed by Sha Tinya and the other three, was shattered under the Black God Ant's all-out attack. The four were sent flying by the sky-shattering power, suffering different degrees of injuries. Black God Ant, kill them for me. Xia Wendy looked at the broken formation diagram and the four people vomiting blood and gave the kill order. Don't worry, Master. I will definitely tear them apart. With that, the murderous Black God Ant let out a roar and charged toward Sha Tinya and the other three. It attacked them with all its strength, determined to kill them and vent the hatred in its heart. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 966. Zhan Jiotong, quickly go help. Shui Hanyan, who had transformed into her beast soul form and was fighting fiercely with Yi Qinfeng, saw that Sha Tinya and the others were in danger. She immediately transmitted her voice to Zhan Jiotong, asking him to help. Watermark advertisement, test watermark, advertisement, test good. Zhan Jiotong quickly formed a seal with his hands. The Tao of life and death surged as he quickly struck out the Tao of life and death. He forcefully forced Kong Sungqin, whose white hair was fluttering in the wind, to retreat and help. Junior, you want to leave before the battle with Ai is over? Kong Sungqin took a step forward. His entire body drew an afterimage in the air and instantly intercepted Zhan Jiotong, who was trying to break out with all his strength. Then, powerful Tao of stars surged out of his body, forming a hand seal that seemed to contain the sun, moon, and stars. It carried an astonishing destructive power as it pressed towards Zhan Jiotong. Boom! The sun, moon, and stars collided with Zhan Jiotong's ultimate move, creating a powerful impact. Without giving Zhan Jiotong a chance to catch his breath, Jiang Xingqian, whose star robe fluttered in the wind, continued to attack him. His ferocious attacks completely suppressed Zhan Jiotong, making it impossible for him to help Sha Tinya and the others. Demonic ghost chains Kong Sungqin entangled Zhan Jiotong. Yi Qinfeng also took advantage of Shui Hanyan's distraction to form 5 demonic ghost chains, sealing off the space she could dodge and forcefully restricting her movements. Sacred thunder of purple beginnings break. While Shui Hanyan's movements were restricted, the sacred thunder of purple beginnings with astonishing destructive power gushed out from Yi Qinfeng's body. It was like a purple dragon, bringing with it a deafening thunder as it bombarded her. Rumble! The deafening thunder resounded. The sacred thunder of purple beginnings instantly disintegrated Shui Hanyan's attack and fiercely struck her body. It tore her clothes and sent her flying. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. However, Shui Hanyan only suffered light injuries from the sacred thunder of purple beginnings at close range. Her torn clothes revealed a very soft black inner armor made of special materials. Mid-grade Tao artifact grade inner armor. Yi Qinfeng frowned. He didn't expect Shui Hanyan to have such a high grade of inner armor. Middle grade offensive Tao tools were already very rare in the fighting spirit continent, let alone a mid-grade Tao tool inner armor. This was enough to prove Shui Hanyan's extraordinary identity. Yi Qinfeng, you're really surprising me more and more. I really want to know how many more tricks you're hiding, Shui Hanyan said lightly as she looked at Yi Qinfeng with a sharp gaze. But no one knew what she was really thinking. Shui Hanyan, bring out your true abilities. Only then will you be able to force me to reveal my true trump card. Yi Qinfeng put away his powerful halberd into the universe realm and took out his high-grade Dao artifact, the Emperor Heaven's Sword, as he spoke in a sharp voice. After speaking, Yi Qinfeng swiftly slashed out with his sword towards Shui Hanyan at an astonishing speed. When Shui Hanyan used the dancing butterfly sword to block Yi Qinfeng's attack, Ditian's sword radiance shot out a sharp power of the way of the sword. It passed through the dancing butterfly sword and struck the silver mask on her face. The silver mask was directly split open, revealing Shui Hanyan's beautiful face that did not have any makeup on. High-grade Dao artifact, although Yi Qinfeng had slashed at her mask, Shui Hanyan still didn't have much expression on her face. However, her deep eyes were like stars that were getting brighter and brighter. She stared at Yi Qinfeng as though she wanted to see through him. Shui Hanyan, do you still want to continue fighting? If you don't want to, I'll go and help them kill. Yi Qinfeng didn't have any deep grudges with Shui Hanyan, let alone the fact that they had a kiss. Seeing Shui Hanyan staring at him in silence, Yi Qinfeng said loudly, "Fight!" Shui Hanyan suddenly smiled, a smile that could topple cities. Under the cover of her beautiful smile, her body suddenly sped up and transformed into an afterimage as she attacked Yi Qinfeng. Mad Devil Hammer. When she instantly approached Yi Qinfeng, the Mad Devil Hammer appeared in Shui Hanyan's fair and tender hands. When she continuously injected soul power into the Mad Devil Hammer, it became bigger and bigger. With the terrifying power of the Mad Devil, it was like a huge falling mountain as it continuously smashed towards Yi Qinfeng. God, Devil Bloodline Yi Qinfeng had already experienced the terror of the Mad Devil Hammer. He directly ignited his God Devil Bloodline and transformed into his God Devil body. He raised his physical strength to 150 million gene and faced the Mad Devil Hammer head-on. Boom! 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 Deafening explosions rang out incessantly, while Yi Qinfeng relied on his absolute strength to resist the Mad Devil Hammer. He continuously attacked Shui Hanyan in an attempt to suppress her attacks. True Devil transformation. After witnessing the fearsomeness of the godly devil physique, Shui Hanyan also transformed into the true devil physique. Her jet black hair extended all the way to her buttocks, and her enchanting figure became even hotter. Her whole body was like a poison, exuding an irresistible allure. Yin-Yang Dao diagram. Shui Hanyan punched out. Hundreds of Yin-Yang Dao patterns gushed out like flowing water and turned into a Yin-Yang Dao diagram. It released the power of both Yin and Yang, disrupted the space, and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Sword Soul, break for me. Yi Qinfeng's pupils shrank. The sword soul flew out of his sea of soul and pierced the Yin-Yang Dao diagram like a meteor. In the next moment, a terrifying sword Dao diagram appeared in the sword soul. It instantly amplified the power of the sword soul. It crushed the Yin-Yang Dao patterns and pierced through the Yin-Yang Dao diagram, stabbing toward Shui Hanyan's chest. Sword Soul, you actually condensed a sword soul. Seeing that Yi Qinfeng had actually condensed a sword soul, Shui Hanyan was moved. She executed her sword steps and dodged rapidly, dodging the shocking attack of the sword soul. Shui Hanyan, are you still not going to use your trump card? If you still don't use your trump card, I'm afraid you will lose to me. Yi Qinfeng looked at Shui Hanyan with a smile that didn't look like a smile as he spoke, domineeringly. You are indeed the man that I fancy. You have surprised me time and time again. However, I don't want to use my trump card because that would be unfair to you. Furthermore, once I use it, you will definitely lose. Shui Hanyan concealed the shock on her face and spoke in a calm voice. Are you that confident? Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly. Are you that confident? Shui Hanyan nodded her head and spoke without a doubt. However, I don't believe you and want to see your final trump card. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng fused his sword soul into the Emperor's sky sword. increasing the attacking power of the Emperor's sky soared to the greatest extent. He wanted to launch a thunderous attack on Shui Hanyan to force her to use her final trump card. However, at this moment, a world-shaking explosion came from the horizon. The Demon King, who was only left with the strength to defend, consumed an elixir that was covered with elixir patterns. Suddenly, a terrifying power erupted from his body and forced Xia, Wendy, and the Black God Ant, who were both unleashing their invincible might, back dozens of meters. Yi Qinfeng, didn't you want to know what my final trump card is? That is my final trump card. Shui Hanyan pointed at the Demon King, who had broken through the limits of a Class 6 combat Beast Emperor and spoke indifferently. 1-star Dao Saint Yi Qinfeng felt that the Demon King's strength had reached an unimaginable level and opened his eyes wide. No, to be precise, it was Nirvana. Shui Hanyan shook her head and said, "If I had also broken through to Nirvana, do you think you would have a chance of defeating me?" No. Yi Qinfeng sighed helplessly. Although his strength was extraordinary and he had the 9 dragon jade annulus and the Qin Kuin sword formation, it was impossible for him to defeat Nirvana unless he used his life spirit technique. Don't worry, my little man. Shui Hanyan looked at Yi Qinfeng's helpless look and smiled sweetly. You are someone I have my eyes on. I won't use the Nirvana elixir to deal with you. Yi Qinfeng, mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 9, 67. 10 Layers of Heaven Kill with the help of the Nirvana elixir. The Demon King possessed the power of Nirvana for a short period of time. He wielded the black demon heavy sword and slashed out the 10 layers of heaven kill. It carried boundless killing intent as it slashed toward Xia Wendy and the Black God Ant Demon Weeps mountains and rivers facing the Demon King's killing move. The Black God Ant did not dodge. It once again transformed into its most powerful battle form. Its demonic aura soared to the sky as it punched out with its fists like meteors. Let's attack together and kill that little girl first. Sha Tianya, who got a chance to catch his breath, looked at Xia Wendy, who was stained with blood, and said coldly. Sha Tianya and the other 2 attacked together, using powerful Dao techniques to attack Xia Wendy. They wanted to gather everyone's power to kill her. Xia Wendy was just injured by the Demon King's Nirvana power. Now that she was attacked by Sha Tianya and the other 2, she was in a dangerous situation. Her attacks were completely suppressed by the 3 level 6 combat beast emperors. Seeing that Xia Wendy was in danger, Yi Qinfeng immediately used his sword steps to save her. However, Shui Hanyan was faster. She intercepted Yi Qinfeng and said with a faint smile, "What? Is that girl your little lover?" "No, she is my friend." Yi Qinfeng looked at Shui Hanyan's hostile face and said, "Yi Qinfeng, do you know that a woman's jealousy is very strong? If she was your little lover, I would definitely destroy her." Shui Hanyan said domineeringly, "Shui Hanyan, don't tease me. Our relationship is not that good." Yi Qinfeng frowned and said, "That was before. Now I am very interested in you, so you can't escape from my palm." Shui Hanyan's mouth slightly curved up, revealing a seductive smile, "And I have a feeling that I will like you." "Shui Hanyan, you are too domineering. You are not likable." Yi Qinfeng could not understand Shui Hanyan's thoughts. He could not figure out what she wanted to do. "Is that so? Why do I feel that you will also fall in love with me?" Shui Hanyan smiled and said, "So you better not be so fickle in front of me right now. Otherwise, when the day comes that you fall in love with me, I will make you pay the price for your affection." While speaking, Xia Dai, who was constantly defending, was hit by a star covered in Dao patterns. She left behind a cloud of blood in the air and fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. Seeing that Xia Wendy was in danger, Yi Qinfeng's heart tightened. He used his Tao treasure, the cloud-treading boots, and pushed his speed to the limit, wanting to save her at full speed. Yi Qinfeng, your choice is really heartbreaking, but I won't let you save your little lover. Shui Hanyan released boundless devil qi from her body, dyeing the void. Like black devil vines, they wrapped around Yi Qinfeng's body, forcibly slowing him down. True devil sky strike next. Shui Hanyan unleashed her ultimate move. Her Tao will and devil qi converged together, forming a terrifying beam of light that distorted space and shot towards Yi Qinfeng. Boom! Yi Qinfeng unleashed his strongest power and swung the Emperor's celestial sword to clash with Shui Hanyan's killer move. However, the power of the perfected devil sky strike was too great. The instant Yi Qinfeng blocked the perfected devil sky strike, he was forced back a few meters and was unable to save Xia Wendy. Qinggu Qiu, Ling Yu, Xue He, Third Uncle Fu, and the three heavenly beasts quickly came out to help. In the critical situation, Yi Qinfeng summoned Qinggu Qiu and the other three heavenly beasts, as well as the 3 level 8 heavenly beasts that he had subdued earlier. They attacked Xingluo Heavenly City and the other 2 forces. Qinggu Qiu, why are you not dead? Why are you with He Yan? Sha Tianya, Lian Xing, and the others opened their eyes wide when they saw Qinggu Qiu charging towards them with the flying snow sword. It was as if they had seen a ghost. From their point of view, Yi Qinfeng had left the heavenly tomb alive, which meant that Qinggu Qiu was dead. However, they did not expect that Qinggu Qiu was still alive. Moreover, he was with Yi Qinfeng, following him blindly. Could it be that the 2 of them had put on a show? Sha Tianya could not help but suspect the relationship between Yi Qinfeng and Qinggu Qiu. With Qinggu Qiu's help, the pressure on Xia Wendy was greatly reduced. Using the Nirvana heart, she forcibly suppressed her injuries and fought Sha Tianya and the other 2 with Qinggu Qiu, who was using the green heaven art and full of heaven energy. The fierce battle between the Black God Ant and the Demon King had also reached its climax. Although the Demon King had consumed the Nirvana elixir and temporarily possessed the strength of the Nirvana realm, his attacks were abnormally terrifying and could shatter the void with a wave of his hand. However, the Black God Ant was a saint beast after all. The demonic energy in its body was endless. In addition to the Black God Ant's boundless strength, the Demon King's attacks were gradually suppressed. The Demon King's consecutive killer moves were also destroyed by the Black God Ant's absolute strength. As for Jiang Xingqin and the other 2, with the help of Ling Yu and the other 2, as well as the 3 level 8 heavenly beasts, the pressure on them was even lighter. The experts from the 3 major forces were forced to retreat again and again. Shui Hanyan, you're done for. As Yi Qinfeng fought with Shui Hanyan, he tried to provoke her and disturb her heart. Fine, I'll spare you and your little lover today. However, I want you to pass on a message to her. Don't let her fall into my hands. Otherwise, I'll make her beg for death. Shui Hanyan did not seem to care about today's defeat. She wanted to leave after saying those words. Bitch, where are you going? Xiao Dai's ears were extremely sharp, and she heard every single word of Shui Hanyan's words. She flew into a rage, and under Qinggu Qiu's protection, she suddenly turned around and attacked Shui Hanyan with a star diagram and life and death diagram. If I want to leave, you can't stop me. A sword diagram appeared under Shui Hanyan's feet. With a single step, she appeared 1,000 meters away, dodging the attacks of the star diagram and life and death diagram. The space she was in could not withstand the attacks of the 2 Tao diagrams, and a large hole was blasted in it. Sword steps major perfection. You've actually cultivated your sword steps to major perfection. Seeing the speed of Shui Hanyan's sword steps, Yi Qinfeng revealed a trace of surprise. He didn't expect Shui Hanyan to be so talented. She was 1 step ahead of him and cultivated the sword steps to the great accomplishment realm. Demon King, you'll cover us. Let's go. Since the battle was over, Shui Hanyan did not want to stay any longer. She wanted to break out of the encirclement. However, Qinggu Qiu, Kong Sungqin, and the others did not give them a chance to escape. They attacked with all their might, determined to take their lives. Demon Chain, seeing that Zhan Jiurong, the black and white demon envoys, were entangled, Shui Hanyan quickly took out several black balls of light from her yin and yang ring and threw them into the void. The balls of light formed thousands of black chains. She controlled the chains with her will and wrapped them around Qinggu Qiu, Kong Sungqin, and the others. When Qinggu Qiu and the others tore apart the demon chains, other than the powerful Demon King, everyone else escaped into the forest. True demon sky strike, true demon sword Tao of life and death. When the Demon King saw that Shui Hanyan and the others had successfully escaped, he ignored the exhaustion of his body and continued to attack the Black God Ant. The void collapsed, and the Demon King forcibly broke through the Black God Ant's attack, interrupting the pursuit of the others. In the next moment, the Demon King's body flashed, and he flew away like a wisp of black smoke. The chaotic space gradually returned to normal. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 968. Yi Qinfeng. What's your relationship with that woman? Xia Wendy stared at Yi Qinfeng with her beautiful phoenix eyes and asked fiercely. Watermark advertisement. Test watermark advertisement. Test obviously. She was still brooding over Shui Hanyan's words. Friend or foe? Yi Qinfeng pondered for a moment and gave a fair evaluation. Humph, I think your soul has been stolen by that vixen. Xia Wendy snorted and said, shameless. Yi Qinfeng also didn't know if Xia Wendy was referring to him or Shui Hanyan when she said shameless, but seeing her angry eyes, Yi Qinfeng didn't ask for a rebuff. Yi Qinfeng, let me ask you, between me and that vixen, who is prettier? Xia Wendy asked with hostility. Hearing Xia Wendy's question, Yi Qinfeng had an impulse to go crazy. It was like saving one's wife and mother in the water. It was hard to answer. Both are prettier. Yi Qinfeng pondered for a moment and said, You stinking pervert. You still want to enjoy the blessings of two women? Xia Wendy scolded without any trace of politeness. You can't reason with a woman, and you can't be serious with a woman. Then you will lose. Looking at the aggressive Xia Wendy, Yi Qinfeng understood a principle and changed the topic. Let's go, let's leave here first. After speaking, Yi Qinfeng took the lead and left under the smiling gaze of Kong Sungqin and others. The overlapping peaks of the mountains, the clouds are deep. This was the famous phrase used to describe the highest peak of the chaotic cloud peak in ancient books. At the highest peak of the chaotic cloud peak, Xia Wendy sat cross-legged and operated the Tao formula to quickly heal her injuries, recover her energy, and adjust her state. As for Yi Qinfeng and the others, they surrounded the highest peak of chaotic cloud, surrounding Xia Wendy in the middle. Yi Qinfeng and others were so careful and sealed the entire space, because after the battle just now, Xia Wendy and the Nirvana heart had perfectly merged, and she felt the breath of heaven's punishment. If Xia Wendy could survive the heavenly punishment, she would be able to borrow the power of the heavenly punishment to completely refine the Nirvana heart and turn it into a part of her body, breaking through to the level 6 Beast Emperor realm. However, Xia Wendy was very clear that the heavenly punishment she would attract after fusing with the Nirvana heart would definitely not be simple. She had to be in her best condition to receive the baptism of the heavenly punishment. Only then would she be able to overcome it. The slightest mistake or carelessness could result in failure at the very last step and being struck to death by the heavens. What kind of punishment would she incur? Qinggu Qiu knew that the Nirvana heart had been obtained by Xia Wendy. Seeing her meditating with her eyes closed, he couldn't help but wonder what kind of heavenly punishment a heaven-defying treasure like the Nirvana heart would attract. On the other hand, Kong Sung-chin, Bai Feng, and the others also looked excited and worried. He was excited that he would be able to witness the highest level of heavenly punishment and gain some insights through Xia Wendy's tribulation. However, he was worried that Xia Wendy would fail her tribulation. If that happened, they wouldn't be able to answer to the Xia clan. After about a day or so, a violent gust of wind blew over, causing the clouds above the chaotic cloud peak to roll violently like waves in the sea. A terrifying pressure formed in the sky, like a giant hand of the 5 elements, ruthlessly pressing down. Sensing that the heavenly punishment was coming, Xia Wendy, who was sitting on the peak of the chaotic cloud peak, opened her eyes. Her cute face revealed a trace of seriousness. Through the pressure in the sky, she felt that the might of the heavenly punishment this time was probably beyond her imagination. Xia Wendy, these 2 life spirit grasses are for you. Yi Chenfeng was not stingy. He took out 2 life spirit grasses that could bring a person back to life and threw them to Xia Wendy, who was preparing to face the heavenly punishment with all her might. Xia Wendy's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. She nodded at Yi Chenfeng, then put one of the life spirit grasses into her mouth and the other into her yin-yang ring, in case of an emergency. Roughly 2 hours later, the sky that was filled with a terrifying pressure was suddenly covered by dark clouds. The dark clouds rolled in from all directions like an army of thousands of men and horses, devouring all the light. The entire world darkened. Xia Wendy, do you need me to lend you the 9 dragon jade annulus? Feeling that the tribulation clouds were getting thicker and thicker, revealing a destructive power that made one's heart palpitate, Yi Chenfeng immediately transmitted his voice to Xia Wendy, asking, "No need. These 2 life spirit grasses are enough for me to face the heavenly punishment." Xia Wendy shook her head. Her beautiful eyes revealed an incomparably strong confidence. Boom, boom, boom after another incense stick's worth of time. The tribulation clouds that were 1,000 feet thick began to emit dense, thunderous sounds. Lightning snakes that were as thick as buckets danced wildly in the tribulation clouds. What kind of heavenly punishment would Xia Wendy attract? Looking at the tribulation clouds that were torn apart by the lightning snakes in the sky, Yi Chenfeng wanted to know what kind of heavenly punishment would descend in a moment. Boom, 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 tens of thousands of lightning snakes, wantonly for an incense stick's worth of time. Suddenly, an earth-shattering thunderous sound rang out, shaking the entire void. In the next moment, countless lightning snakes broke through the violently tumbling tribulation clouds and quickly gathered, forming a dark gray lightning bolt that was like a wild dragon. It roared wildly as it struck down. The moment this dark gray lightning struck down, the entire space couldn't bear the heavy pressure, and a large number of cracks appeared. Nascent sacred lightning. This dark gray lightning had reached the level of nascent sacred lightning. Feeling that the dark gray lightning was comparable to the purple beginnings sacred lightning, Yi Chenfeng revealed a shocked expression. The might of nascent sacred lightning was extremely terrifying. Even a 6th level combat beast emperor wouldn't dare to face it head-on. However, Xia Wendy attracted the continuous attack of nascent sacred lightning during her tribulation. This made Yi Chenfeng sweat for her. Wang Wen, the dark gray lightning comparable to nascent sacred lightning, was about to strike Xia Wendy. The star Dao intent and life and death Dao intent in her body gushed out, turning into 2 frightening Dao diagrams that sealed the space above her head, resisting the gray lightning. When the gray lightning struck the 2 Dao diagrams, it immediately split the star Dao diagram and the life and death Dao diagram apart. The frightening lightning energy passed through the 2 Dao diagrams and struck Xia Wendy's body, wanting to destroy her. However, after being weakened by the 2 Dao diagrams, the gray lightning's might was weakened to the extreme. The strands of gray lightning couldn't harm Xia Wendy's body at all, and she easily blocked them. Nirvana heart, ignite, however, as time passed, more and more cracks appeared on the two Tao diagrams. Just as the two Tao diagrams were about to be shattered by the gray lightning, Xiao Wendy ignited her Nirvana heart, releasing a powerful Nirvana energy that poured into the two Tao diagrams. The Star Emperor's Nirvana heart contained a frightening amount of energy. After fusing with the Nirvana energy of the Nirvana heart, the cracks on the two Tao diagrams were quickly repaired. The extremely destructive gray lightning couldn't threaten Xiao Wendy's life at all. Suddenly, the frightening gray lightning strangely disappeared. Xiao Wendy used the two Tao diagrams to resist the baptism of the gray lightning of nascent sacred lightning. However, passing through the first layer of heavenly punishment so quickly didn't make Xiao Wendy happy. Instead, she was shocked, and her expression became even more serious. There must be a demon behind this abnormality. Xiao Wendy felt that the heavenly punishment below would be even more frightening. Sure enough, just as Xiao Wendy had imagined, a strange black hole suddenly appeared in the violently tumbling tribulation clouds. It crazily swallowed the tribulation cloud's power. In the next instant, a 30-foot tall thunder war god appeared from the black hole. His body was covered in lightning, and he walked down step by step. Seeing the thunder war god appear in the sky, Yi Qinfeng's eyes widened. He never would have thought that the heavenly punishment that Xiao Wendy's Nirvana heart would attract would be one of the most frightening heavenly punishments recorded in ancient texts. A humanoid heavenly punishment. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Collect button below to record your reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 969. Heavenly Punishment in Human Form. This kind of heavenly punishment really exists. Qinggu Qiu, Kong Sungqin, and the others stared at the lightning war god with wide eyes, completely dumbfounded. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test Qinggu Qiu was of the opinion that few people were worthy of his attention. But he felt that whether it was talent or opportunity, he couldn't compare to Xiao Wendy. If he were to switch places with Xiao Wendy, he felt that he would definitely be struck to death by heavenly punishment in human form. How could it be this kind of heavenly punishment? Xiao Wendy's brows furrowed tightly together as she felt immense pressure. If she didn't die in heavenly punishment, then she would live forever in it. Soon, Xiao Wendy dispelled the trace of unease in her heart and controlled the star Tao diagram to attack the lightning war god. Rumble. The lightning war god's vortex-like eyes flashed with lightning as the two Tao diagrams approached. Countless bolts of lightning gathered in his right hand, forming a 10-meter-long lightning saber. He slashed through the air at the two Tao diagrams. Boom! Boundless heavenly lightning exploded, causing the earth to tremble and mountains to tremble. Lightning and Tao diagrams collided and surged in all directions like a tidal wave, destroying all things in its wake. Large swaths of wondrous rocks were annihilated and ancient trees were pulverized. The entire mountain peak couldn't withstand the terrifying recoil and began to tremble violently. The terrifying might instilled fear in everyone's hearts, as if the end of the world had arrived. After the first strike, the lightning war god's arms flared with lightning as he slashed down with his lightning saber. This strike was even more powerful, and its terrifying power directly shattered the star Tao diagram and the life and death Tao diagram before attacking Xiao Wendy, who was sitting cross-legged on the mountain peak. Slaughter, doppelganger at this critical moment. A black figure broke out of Xiao Wendy's body like a streak of black light, colliding violently with the lightning saber in midair. Boom! The Slaughter doppelganger shattered the lightning saber, and he was also blasted down from the sky by the terrifying power of lightning. He smashed a hole in the mountain peak covered in cracks. At this moment, a dazzling golden three-legged bird appeared on Xiao Wendy's body. It flapped its golden wings and let out a long cry at the lightning war god. The three-legged golden crow. She actually had such an ancient spiritual beast. Looking at Xia Wendi's spiritual beast, Qinggu Qiu, Kong Sungqin, and the others were moved. They had no doubt that if Xia Wendi could survive the humanoid divine punishment and refine the nirvana heart to break through to the 6th grade combat beast emperor realm, her strength would rise to a level they could never hope to reach. He might even be able to fight against nirvana's experts. However, the heavenly punishment in human form was too frightening. Wanting to pass it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Seeing Xia Wendi fusing with the three-legged golden crow and her strength rising steadily, they couldn't help but sweat for her. When Xia Wendi merged with the three-legged golden raven, the lightning war god slashed out a second time. A terrifying lightning saber light tore through the void, bringing with it terrifying power as it slashed towards Xia Wendi. 9 swords of starlight. Xia Wendi exerted her star, Dao insight to the limit, and transformed into 9 swords of starlight that carried an ear-piercing sound as they slashed towards the lightning saber. Rumble series of uncontrollable explosions rang out in the void. The 9 swords of starlight lasted for only 4 breaths before they were shattered by the lightning saber. The terrifying lightning power carried with it the power to destroy everything as it slashed towards Xia Wendi, wanting to cut her into pieces. At this time, Xia Wendi's star Dao diagram and life and death Dao diagram formed in her palms to resist the saber. Under the amplification of her born Taoism aptitude, the power of the star Dao diagram and life and death Dao diagram increased exponentially, dispersing the remaining power of the lightning saber. However, the lightning war god's attacks were too fierce. After the first saber strike, he slashed out 3 more times in a row, continuously slashing at the star Dao diagram and life and death Dao diagram. He forcefully split the 2 Dao diagrams and sent Xia Wendi, who was under great pressure, into the mountain full of cracks. Star God Bloodline. On the brink of danger, Xia Wendi, who was continuously fusing with the Nirvana heart, finally activated the Star God Bloodline in her body. An ancient phantom with sparkling starlight emerged from her body and collided with the lightning saber. Boom! The ancient phantom collided with the lightning saber. The terrifying bloodline power broke the lightning saber and rushed toward the lightning war god. Starlight Battle Shadow. Did this little girl have the same star god bloodline as Astral Emperor? Kong Sungqin and the others widened their eyes as they watched the ancient phantom fight with the lightning war god. They were very excited, and they didn't waste this rare opportunity. They released their powerful soul power and felt the changes of heavenly punishment in human form, deepening their understanding of the Tao. Perhaps she could really survive the heavenly punishment in human form. As antiques of the Xingluo continent, Kong Sungqin and the others knew how terrifying the star god bloodline was. Xia Wendi had the same bloodline as Astral Emperor and the same talent. If she could survive this terrifying heavenly punishment, she would definitely become the 2nd Astral Emperor. While the Starlight Battle Shadow and the Lightning War God were fighting, Xia Wendi ignored the endurance of her body and madly burned the Nirvana heart, increasing the power of the Star God bloodline while refining it. The ancient phantom and the lightning war god fought fiercely for half an hour. The terrifying lightning war god suddenly burst with power and shattered the ancient phantom with one strike. Then the lightning saber fell from the sky with boundless destructive power, slashing towards Xia Wendi, whose expression changed slightly. Boom! The lightning saber slashed the star Dao diagram that Xia Wendi was using all her strength to support. In an instant, the space around Xia Wendi fell into chaos. It was gray and hazy, making it impossible for people to see the scene of Xia Wendi's tribulation. The terrifying destructive power passed through the Dao diagram and crazily rushed into her body, tearing apart her clothes and body. Large amounts of blood spurted out, instantly dyeing her a bloody person. Her injuries continued to worsen, but it didn't slow down Xia Wendi's attacks. She continued to condense the two Tao diagrams and fiercely attacked the Lightning War God. The Starlight Battle Shadow, which had just been shattered by the Lightning War God, reappeared and fiercely fought the Lightning War God. With the Lightning War God close in, Xia Wendy's situation became even more dangerous. Although Xia Wendy tried her best to defend, she was still heavily injured by the Lightning War God. Her entire body became a bloody mess. If it wasn't for her Star God bloodline becoming stronger and stronger, allowing the Starlight Battle Shadow to block most of the Lightning War God's attacks, and allowing the burning Nirvana Heart to continuously repair her body, she would have already been killed by the Lightning War God. Just as Xia Wendy's injuries became more and more serious and her attacks became slower, the Lightning War God suddenly erupted with a shocking power. Rolling power fused into the lightning saber in his hand. The saber slashed apart the Starlight Battle Shadow and continued to slash at Xia Wendy. Facing the Lightning War God's fatal saber, Xia Wendy didn't dodge. Seeing her body being shattered by the Lightning War God's saber, the Nirvana Heart suddenly appeared to her body and blocked this fatal saber. Boom! The Nirvana Heart was shattered by the Lightning War God's full-strength saber. Energy erupted like a volcano, shattering the lightning saber and fiercely slamming into the Lightning War God, sending him flying. Puff Puff Xia Wendy was also affected by the aftershocks, and her body was heavily injured. Seeing her body about to be destroyed, she quickly swallowed the life spirit grass in her mouth. In the next moment, her bloody body began to recover at a visible speed. Her heavy injuries were also quickly healed. She endured the destructive power and fused the cracked Nirvana Heart into her body. She once again ignited her Star God bloodline and launched a desperate counterattack against the heavily injured Lightning War God. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 970. As expected, while Xia Wendy's tribulations seemed dangerous, it was all part of her plan. Now that the Thunder War God had been injured by the power of the Nirvana Heart, she should have a chance to defeat him and pass this humanoid tribulation that was almost impossible for humans to pass. Yi Qinfeng revealed a look of anticipation as he watched Xia Wendy counterattack the Thunder War God. Based on his understanding of Xia Wendy, she would definitely seize this opportunity to defeat the Thunder War God in one fell swoop. If she missed this opportunity, she would be in real danger. Nirvana Heart merge. Xia Wendy merged the energy from the Nirvana Heart into her cells, breaking through the bottleneck of her cultivation level. Because the Nirvana Heart's energy was too terrifying, even Xia Wendy's born Taoism aptitude couldn't withstand it. Her lithe body kept expanding, showing signs of exploding. Born Taoism aptitude, suppress. Relying on her powerful born Taoism aptitude to suppress the Nirvana Heart's power, Xia Wendy formed the life and death Tao diagram in her right hand and the heaven and earth Tao diagram in her left. She continuously attacked the Thunder War God's body. Under the combination of the born Taoism aptitude and the Nirvana Heart, the two Tao diagrams' destructive power reached the limit. They bombarded the Thunder War God's chest, causing cracks to appear. At this time, the Starlight War God appeared in Xia Wendy's body. He blasted out beams of starlight, attacking the Thunder War God's head, suppressing him and cracking his body bit by bit. Ha! A heaven-shaking roar rang out. The Thunder War God, whose body was covered in cracks from the continuous attacks, began to counterattack. He once again condensed a huge blade of lightning, and with the momentum of splitting the sky, he slashed toward Xiao Dai, wanting to split her body apart. At this critical moment, the Slaughter doppelganger appeared, using its own body to block the Thunder War God's fatal attack. Star Tao diagram, life and death Tao diagram explode. The moment the Thunder War God sent the Slaughter doppelganger flying, Xia Wendy detonated the two Tao diagrams. The terrifying power of the will of the Great Path directly blew up one of the Thunder War God's arms, severely injuring his body. The Thunder War God's broken arm immediately turned into a large number of Tao tattoos, wildly pouring into Xia Wendy's body, imprinting themselves on her flesh. Life and death Tao diagram, star Tao diagram explode. Next, Xia Wendy formed two Tao diagrams again and attacked the Lightning War God. Normally, Xia Wendy would never have been able to continuously condense two Tao diagrams to attack. But now, the crazily burning nirvanic heart had replenished the energy she had consumed to condense the Tao diagrams. Under the frenzied attacks of her two Tao diagrams, the Thunder War God's offensive was finally suppressed. Xia Wendy also saw a glimmer of hope in surviving the humanoid heavenly punishment. Something's wrong. Why do I feel like a mysterious energy is gathering in the sky under the cover of the tribulation clouds? Could it be that this humanoid heavenly punishment is not the limit of Xiao Dai's heavenly punishment, and there are even more terrifying heavenly punishments waiting for her? With the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Qin Feng sensed the abnormality in the rolling tribulation clouds that were like a long river. His brows were tightly knitted together, and his heart was in his throat again. And he wasn't mistaken. When Xia Wendy fused with the nirvanic heart and challenged the Thunder War God, a power that didn't belong to heavenly punishment had appeared in the rolling tribulation clouds. And this power came from the three intact celestial race ruins on the Xingluo continent. In one of the celestial race ruins, a blurry figure had appeared. However, under the cover of heavenly punishment, no one except Yi Qin Feng sensed it, including Xia Wendy, who was undergoing her tribulation. 9 Starlight soared Starlight, palm-suppressing the Thunder War God with all her strength. Xia Wendy gathered the nirvanic energy in her body into her fists, deducing the Tao intent to the extreme. She continuously used powerful Tao skills to bombard the Thunder War God, worsening his injuries. Under the all-out attacks of Xia Wendy, the Starlight War God, and the Slaughter Doppelganger, the Thunder War God's left leg shattered, turning into a large amount of Tao patterns that merged into her flesh. After merging with a large amount of Tao intent, Xia Wendy's bottleneck loosened, and she faintly touched upon the realm of a level 6 combat beast emperor. And the nirvanic heart, which had released enough energy, also began to completely merge with her heart under the control of Xia Wendy's will. After losing an arm and a leg, the Thunder War God's attacks were greatly reduced, and he was no longer a threat to Xia Wendy. The Thunder War God's momentum was gone, and that little girl would soon be able to pass through this humanoid tribulation and break through to level 6 combat beast emperor. Although Kong Sungchin and the others looked down on Xia Wendy's tribulation, they could feel the tribulation cloud's power begin to fade, and their nervous mood also relaxed. However, they didn't notice that Yi Qinfeng's brows were furrowed even tighter, as if he had a premonition. Star God strike blocking the Thunder War God's attack. Xia Wendy forcibly used her bloodline ability, controlling the Starlight War God to launch a fatal attack. Wang the chaotic void trembled, and the Starlight War God turned into a beam of light, forcefully breaking through the lightning armor and piercing through the Thunder War God's body. In the next moment, the heavily injured Thunder War God exploded, turning into a sky full of Tao patterns. Like rivers flowing into the sea, they merged into Xia Wendy's body. Under the large amount of Tao patterns, Xia Wendy's body continuously transformed, and the nirvanic heart also perfectly merged with her heart. Level 6 combat beast emperor breakthrough. When the time was right, Xia Wendy gathered all the soul power and Tao intent in her body and broke through the bottleneck, breaking through to level 6 combat beast emperor. However, the instant Xia Wendy broke through, Yi Qinfeng's expression changed. Following that, Qinggu Qiu, Kong Sungchin, and the others' expressions also changed. This was because they saw a milky white hand descend from the tribulation cloud, carrying with it the power to destroy everything. It attacked Xiao Wendy, who had just broken through, wanting to destroy her. How could this be? Xiao Wendy had already passed through the heavenly tribulation. So why would this white hand appear? Xiao Wendy was in danger. Seeing the sudden descent of the white hand, Qinggu Qiu and the others' hearts rose to their throats. Star Dao Diagram, Life and Death Dao Diagram. Xiao Wendy, who had just broken through and repaired her body, was also stunned by this sudden scene. She quickly condensed 2 Dao diagrams to defend herself. However, this white hand was too terrifying. It easily destroyed the 2 Dao diagrams and attacked Xiao Wendy, whose expression changed greatly. Seeing that Xiao Wendy was about to be hit by the giant hand of destruction, Yi Qinfeng, who had long since sensed the abnormality, flew toward Xiao Wendy like a shooting star. Before the giant hand could land, he caught her in his arms. In the next moment, with a thought, Yi Qinfeng entered the universe realm with Xiao Wendy in his arms. Boom! The instant the two entered the universe realm, the space where Xiao Wendy was just a moment ago collapsed. The terrifying destructive hand directly smashed the space apart. The destructive hand's attack was extremely terrifying. Not to mention Xiao Wendy. Even a Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert would not be able to block it. However, Universe Realm experts were too heaven-defying. They were not affected by the destructive hand's attack at all. However, under the destructive hand's attack, the space around them continued to collapse, as if the end of the world had arrived. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 971. Ah, Yi Qinfeng, you grabbed my breasts again, get lost. Xiao Wendy, who was still in shock, suddenly felt a numbing sensation coming from her chest. Her eyes immediately widened. When she lowered her head to look, she discovered that her right breast was tightly grabbed by Yi Qinfeng. Her cheeks immediately flushed red, and she sent Yi Qinfeng flying with a palm. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test Xiao Wendy. How could you treat your savior like this? If I had not risked my life to save you, you would have already died. Yi Qinfeng clutched his aching chest and said loudly, Yi Qinfeng, let me ask you, did you touch my breasts on purpose? Xiao Wendy flew into a rage out of humiliation. If not for the fact that they were in the universe realm and Xiao Wendy did not dare to act rashly, she would have already taught Yi Qinfeng a lesson. Xiao Wendy, don't slander me. I really did not do it on purpose. Furthermore, my hand touched your breasts. Didn't your breasts also touch my hand? Why are you so agitated? Yi Qinfeng rubbed his nose and said, You. Xiao Wendy was so angry that her whole body trembled. The flames in her eyes seemed to want to melt him. All right, Xiao Wendy, don't look at me like that. Let's analyze who was the one that wanted to kill you at the last moment. In the universe realm, Yi Qinfeng was not afraid that Xiao Wendy would do anything to him and suggested softly. Needless to say, the hand that attacked me at the last moment was definitely related to the heaven race. They would definitely not let me fuse with my ancestors' Nirvana heart and break through to level 6 beast emperor. Xiao Wendy did not dare to make a move in the universe realm, so she could only endure the anger in her heart and said while grinding her teeth, Heaven race. Could it be that there were still heaven race experts in Xingluo continent? After confirming his suspicions, Yi Qinfeng increasingly felt that the Star Luo continent still hid many secrets and dangers that no one knew about. He did not know, but Xingluo Heaven City was the foundation of the heaven race. If Xingluo Heaven City was attacked, it might unlock many secrets of Xingluo continent. Xiao Wendy shook her head and said, MN, I plan to first go to the Dark Azura Temple and subdue them. Then I'll head to the True Demon Tribe and destroy that place. Then I'll gather the forces of all sides and attack Xingluo Heavenly City together. I'll seize control of Xingluo Heavenly City. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, Yi Qinfeng, you can't be thinking of becoming the city, Lord of Xingluo Sky City, right? Xia Wendy asked with wide eyes. Do you think that I am not qualified to be the city, Lord of Xingluo Heavenly City? Yi Qinfeng asked with a faint smile. Xia Wendy shook her head and said, I am worried about the girls in Heaven City, running into a lecherous Qingzhu. Their fate will be so miserable. Yi Qinfeng. Just as Kong Sungqin and the others were worried about Yi Qinfeng's safety, the two of them left the Qingquan realm and appeared in the slowly recovering void. Phew, great, they are fine. Looking at Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy, Kong Sungqin and the others breathed a sigh of relief. But as smart people, they did not ask about Yi Qinfeng's secret. Let's go. Let's get out of here first. After speaking, Yi Qinfeng and the others left the chaotic Cloud Peak, which was shaved off by Tian Fa. Fresh Breeze Town was a small town situated beside a green mountain. Its people were simple and honest, and it was very quiet. After leaving the chaotic Cloud Peak, Yi Qinfeng and the others came here to rest. After recuperating for 3 days, Xia Wendy consolidated her level 6 combat Beast Emperor realm and fully comprehended the Tao intent in her body. After comprehending the Tao intent in the human form of Tian Fa, Xia Wendy cultivated the life and death Tao pattern and the star Tao pattern to 120, which greatly increased the power of the 2 Tao patterns. If Xia Wendy could cultivate the 2 Tao patterns to 200, then her Tao pattern would transform into a spirit-grade Tao pattern, and its power would increase by leaps and bounds. However, it was almost impossible to cultivate a spirit-grade Tao pattern in a low-grade realm. If it wasn't for Xia Wendy's Tian Fa being too heaven-defying, her comprehension of the 2 Tao patterns would have remained at 100. Xia Wendy's comprehension of the star Tao pattern and the life and death Tao pattern had increased by a level. Her comprehension of the heavenly Tao had also increased greatly, and she had cultivated 40 heavenly Tao patterns. We are really old. Compared to you, my 10,000 years of life were wasted. Jiang Xingqin sighed with emotion as he looked at Xia Piedai. Xia Piety's temperament was completely natural, and her every movement could cause great changes in the world. She had become even more beautiful, although he had also broken through to the level 6 combat Beast Emperor realm. He felt that no matter if it was strength or comprehension of Tao intent, he was far inferior to this junior. Thanks to all of you seniors protecting me, I was able to successfully pass through the Tian Fa and break through to the level 6 combat Beast Emperor realm. Xia Wendy smiled sweetly and said gratefully, Wendy, you should be thanking Qingfeng. It was him who risked his life to save you. Kong Sungqin looked at Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy, who were like dragons and phoenixes among men, and wanted to matchmake them. Yi Qinfeng, thank you. Thank you for saving me. Xia Wendy revealed her cute little dimples and said sweetly, In order to thank you, I am willing to share my gains from the Tian Fa with you. What do you want to do? Yi Qinfeng looked at Xia Wendy, whose eyes were curved into crescents, and asked cautiously, as if he didn't recognize her anymore. Yi Qinfeng, am I that scary? Xia Wendy smiled, more beautiful than flowers, and said, But in order to let you have a deeper understanding of my gains from the Tian Fa, I am prepared to teach you everything during the competition. No way. Seeing the slyness in Xia Wendy's eyes, Yi Qinfeng knew what she wanted to do, so he rejected her without hesitation. Xia Wendy's current strength was far beyond Yi Qinfeng's. Competing with her was no different than asking for a beating. Yi Qinfeng, if you refuse my good intentions, I will be very sad. Xia Wendy said pitifully, Are you afraid that I still don't believe in my sincerity? I just want to share my gains from the Tian Fa in the competition to thank you for your kindness. Is that not okay? No, Yi Qinfeng said with absolute certainty. A man can't say no. Xia Wendy smiled like a flower and said, Yi Qinfeng, are you a man or not? Yi Qinfeng. If you really want to compete, then come to my Qinkuan realm. Yi Qinfeng looked at Xiao Wendy, who was harboring evil intentions, and said lightly, "Humph, coward." Seeing that Yi Qinfeng didn't take the bait, Xiao Wendy didn't force him, but a victorious smile appeared on her face. "Qinfeng, what are you going to do next?" Kong Sungqin gently shook his head and asked, "We have already been exposed. In order to avoid their revenge, I am going to attack them immediately. First, I will go to the Sun Luo Temple and subdue them. Then, I will learn the location of the true demon clan from them and eradicate the true demon clan. Then, I will gather all of my power to seize control of Xingluo Sky City and destroy the Sky Clan's inheritance." Yi Qinfeng said, "Okay, since you already have a plan, then we will fully cooperate with you." Kong Sungqin and the other two said, "It is time to return the Xingluo continent to a new world." "Then there is no time to lose. Let's go to the Sun Luo Temple now." After speaking, Yi Qinfeng and the others left Fresh Breeze Town and went to the Sun Luo Temple. The real final battle had begun. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 972. Xingzi Lake was a vast inland lake in the Xingluo continent. It had picturesque scenery and was known as one of the 7 secluded 8 sceneries of the Xingluo continent. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement Xingzi Lake scenery was extremely beautiful, but very few people could appreciate its beauty. This was because Xingzi Lake was a forbidden area in the Xingluo continent. One of the superpowers of the Xingluo continent, Sun Luo Temple, was located on the island in the middle of Xingzi Lake. At this moment, there were faintly discernible runes floating in Xingzi Lake. After failing to kill Yi Qinfeng and the others outside the Xingluo Imperial Tomb, Sun Luo Temple's defense had reached the highest level. "Master, do you think they will take revenge on us?" Sun Luo Temple's master, Sun Ming, was wearing a black silk dress. She was taller than an average man. Although her appearance was average, she had a hot body. Very few people had seen Sun Luo Temple's true appearance, and even fewer people knew that the terrifying Sun Luo Temple's master was a woman. Yes, they will definitely take revenge on us, and they will take action against us first. Although Sun Luo Temple's mainstay, Sun Tu, did not participate in the attack outside the Xingluo Imperial Tomb, he, who had lived for almost 10,000 years, could clearly see through many things. "Master, do you think if Sun Luo Temple were to take revenge on us, Xingluo Sky City and the true demon clan would come and help us?" Sun Ming lost his usual composure and said helplessly, "Sai, the Xingluo continent is going to change. I'm afraid we are on the wrong side." Sun Tu said with a deep gaze, making it impossible for others to guess his true thoughts. After a period of seclusion, he had used the benefits he obtained from the true demon clan to break through to the level 6 combat beast emperor realm, standing at the peak of the Xingluo continent. "Master, why don't we give up on Xingzi Lake and our 100,000 years of foundation? Leave the Xingluo continent and find a safe place to recuperate and wait for an opportunity to rise again." Sun Ming pondered for a while and said unwillingly, "All right, go and prepare now. We will leave this place." Sun Tu said without joy or sadness. Buzz, just as Sun Ming was about to give the order to evacuate Shangzihu, the forbidden space array that enveloped the entire lake trembled. The sound of a large number of array runes tearing apart rang out in the void. Listening to the strange sound from the void, Sun Tu frowned. He slowly stood up and said, "It seems that we can't leave. They are here. Come on, let's go out and meet them." As he spoke, Sun Tu, who had a calm expression and a trace of viciousness in his eyes, brought Sun Ming to the outside of Sun Luo Hall. He saw Yi Qinfeng and the others attacking the island's protective array. 10 years east of the river, 10 years west of the river. I never thought that my Sun Luo temple would end up in such a predicament. Looking at Kong Sungchin by phone and the others, Sun Tu couldn't help but recall the time when he was in high spirits. He, Jasper Palace, and House Xiaohou oppressed the Bai family, but all of this was ruined by one person. That person was none other than Yi Qinfeng. Sun Tu, your momentum is gone. Obediently open the island's protective array and surrender. Otherwise, don't blame I for starting a massacre. Kong Sungchin put his hands behind his back. Through the island's protective array, he looked at his old rival, Sun Tu, who was wearing a black robe, and said with an imposing manner, "As an old rival, I think you should understand me, and I also understand you. If I surrender, you will either place a mark on my soul and turn me into your puppet, or be suppressed by you for 1,000 years until I die of old age. But I don't want either of these endings. So don't waste your breath. I will not surrender." Sun Tu put his hands behind his back and said calmly, "Sun Tu, I can understand that you are not afraid of death, but are you willing to watch others die because of you?" Zhuo Piapiao, the charming Zhang Biwa, said, "I can't even protect myself. How can I protect them?" Sun Tu said coldly. Hearing Sun Tu's words, Sun Ming and the others' expressions slightly changed. Sun Tu had disregarded life and death, but they didn't want to die. However, they knew Sun Tu's methods. Whoever dared to betray him at this critical moment would not be able to escape from his vicious hands. "Master, are you really going to fight to the death with them?" Sun Ming bit his lips and asked, "Is there a second choice?" Sun Tu said calmly. His calm appearance made people tremble in fear. "But, Sun Ming, I raised you. In order to push you to the position of Sun Luo Temple Master, I have killed many people. Now, it is time for you to repay me." Sun Tu suddenly revealed his pure white teeth and said, seeing Sun Tu suddenly smile, Sun Ming felt deeply uneasy. He instinctively wanted to retreat and distance himself from him. However, Sun Tu had broken through to the rank 6 combat beast emperor realm. His strength had reached an extremely terrifying level. The hand he stretched out was like a big hand bearing its fangs, directly grabbing Sun Ming's neck. This sudden scene shocked all the experts of Sun Luo Temple. It also made Yi Qinfeng and the others reveal shocked expressions. "Master, I didn't betray you. Don't kill me." Being lifted into the air by Sun Tu's neck, Sun Ming immediately wanted to resist. However, when he tried to resist, a powerful force bound him, forcing him to beg for mercy. "Of course, I know you didn't betray me. However, at this moment of life and death, shouldn't you do something for your master to repay the kindness he has shown you?" Sun Tu revealed a cruel smile. His left hand, filled with the aura of death, fiercely smashed Sun Ming's head. Then Sun Tu opened his mouth and spat out a blood-red hexagonal blood diagram inlaid with 6 strange stones. It crazily devoured Sun Ming's blood and qi. In the blink of an eye, the rank 4 combat beast emperor Sun Ming's blood and qi were sucked dry by the hexagonal blood diagram, turning him into a dried corpse. After devouring all the blood and qi in Sun Ming's body, the blood and qi in the hexagonal blood diagram boiled. A blood-red ghost face appeared in the diagram, letting out a bone-chilling wail that made people shudder. "Blood demon diagram. How did this treasure end up in your hands?" Looking at the hexagonal blood diagram with the blood-red ghost face, Kong Sungchin and the other two's expressions became extremely ugly. The blood demon diagram was a notorious treasure that had been passed down for more than 200,000 years. It was in the hands of a murderous demon who called himself the Blood Demon. He caused a bloody storm in the Xingluo continent. Tens of thousands of people died because of him, and many families were directly destroyed. In the end, his violent actions angered the Xingluo Sky City. At that time, the city lord of the Xingluo Sky City joined forces with the leaders of many families to kill him. However, he still escaped with the help of the blood demon diagram. Since then, the blood demon diagram and the blood demon disappeared from the Duhan continent. However, no one expected that this evil treasure would be obtained by Sun Tuesday. Surprisingly, he used Sun Ming's blood and life to awaken the blood demon diagram. Sun Tu revealed a ferocious smile and said slowly, "Why can't the blood demon diagram be in my hands?" It seems that the Sun Luo temple is closely related to the blood demon. Kong Sungchin said in a low voice, "Since the blood demon diagram has been exposed, you will all die today. However, before I kill you, I ask you to watch a show." As he spoke, Sun Tu, who was controlling the blood demon diagram, suddenly turned around and attacked the shocked Sun Luo temple masters. A bloody massacre began. Yun Lei's official WeChat account already has 4,700 people. For every 1,000 people, Yun Lei will add a chapter. Everyone, come to the official account address, YLTY83. Some of the female leads' photos have been posted. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 973. We need to quickly break the formation and stop the blood demon diagram from devouring blood. Otherwise, with the help of the blood demon diagram, Sun Tu's strength might reach the Nirvana realm. Seeing Sun Tu crazily slaughtering the Sun Luo temple experts, Kong Sungchin and the others' faces changed. They immediately increased their attack power, wanting to forcefully break the island's protective formation and break in. Space Swallower Seal breaking the Sun Luo temple's protective formation was extremely powerful. Yi Qinfeng and the others could not break it in a short time. In order to save time, Yi Qinfeng quickly summoned the Space Swallower and ordered it to devour the seal. After continuously devouring the blood of heavenly beasts, the Space Swallower's ability to break seals greatly increased. Soon, it bit a big hole in the violently trembling seal. Yi Qinfeng and the others quickly rushed in. At this time, Sun Tu, who was crazily slaughtering like a god of death, had killed more than 30 Sun Luo temple experts. He controlled the blood demon diagram and sucked all the blood from their bodies, completely activating the blood demon diagram. After devouring a large amount of blood, the demon faces in the blood demon diagram became even clearer. They looked at Yi Qinfeng and the others with hatred. Kong Sungchin, by phone, don't look at me like that. Although you have the advantage in numbers, I have the blood demon diagram. You can't kill me. Sun Tu showed a fearless smile and looked at Yi Qinfeng and the others. Sun Tu, your actions today are worse than an animal. You will be punished by the heavens. Zhang Bue looked at the crazy Sun Tu with sharp eyes and said coldly, "Haha." Sun Tu looked up to the sky and laughed. "I am the heavens. Who will punish me?" Suddenly, an ear-piercing sound broke through the air. Sun Tu, who was controlling the blood demon diagram, only saw a blur in front of him. Xiao Wendy, who was as beautiful as a fairy, suddenly appeared in front of him. Smelling danger, Sun Tu instinctively retreated. However, Xiao Wendy's attack speed was even faster. In an instant, she attacked him with 3 palms and 2 kicks. When Shinta relied on his powerful strength to defend against Xiao Wendy's surprise attack, he was still unable to block her final palm strike. The powerful palm strike carried a fierce gale as it ruthlessly struck Shinta's face, leaving behind a bright red palm print on his old face as he was sent flying. "Your great aunt is beating the heavens. Old dog die." As she spoke, the furious Xia Wendy took advantage of the opportunity to pursue and attack. She launched a tidal wave of attacks towards Gloom Butcher, wanting to kill this murderous demon. After being attacked by Xiao Wendy, Sun Tu immediately wanted to retaliate and kill her to vent his anger. However, at this moment, the black god ant appeared behind Xiao Wendy, bringing a great threat to Sun Tu. Sensing the terror of the black god ant, Gloom Butcher decisively gave up on the idea of using the blood demon diagram to kill Xiao Wendy. He quickly fled towards the chaotic, dark Azura Hall. Chase Sen Tu was a madman. If he was allowed to escape, he would definitely bring a devastating disaster to the entire Xingluo continent. Yi Qinfeng and the others quickly chased after him, not giving him a chance to escape. When Yi Qinfeng, Xiao Wendy, and the others chased after Sun Tu to the forbidden grounds of the Dark Azura Hall, they suddenly discovered that the scene in front of them had changed. An extremely mysterious illusion had trapped them. As expected, Sun Tu was already prepared. Looking at the illusory scene in front of him and feeling waves of illusion power crazily surge into his mind, Yi Qinfeng immediately raised his illusion Dao intent to the limit to break the illusion in front of him. Straight line sword slash after the illusion Dao intent dispersed and the God-Eater brain deduced. Yi Qinfeng locked onto a spatial node in front of him. The power of his sword soul erupted as he stabbed with the Emperor Heaven Sword. Qi. After being attacked by the horizontal slash of the fused sword soul, the spatial node that the God-Eater brain deduced shattered like glass. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng, who did not slow down, was the first to rush out. He saw Sun Tu, who still had a red palm print on his face, floating above a boiling blood pool. He was controlling the blood demon diagram to devour the power of the blood pool. Yi Qinfeng, I really want to know who you are to be able to change the situation of the Xingluo continent. Sun Tu did not break out of the encirclement. He looked at Yi Qinfeng with hatred and said coldly, "Without Yi Qinfeng, he would not be in such a predicament today." Therefore, when he saw Yi Qinfeng break out of the illusion, he decided to take the opportunity to kill Yi Qinfeng. "You are a person who is about to die, so you don't need to know who I am." Yi Qinfeng looked at Sun Tu with a sharp gaze and said with killing intent. 18 Qinkuan swords appeared around his body and circled above his head. They formed the Qinkuan sword formation and cut through the air. Yi Qinfeng had gained a lot in the Xingluo Royal Mausoleum. He obtained a large number of low-grade Dao swords left behind by the Star Emperor. He also obtained a mid-grade Dao artifact, the Starlight Dao sword from Xiao Wendy, which greatly improved the Qinkuan sword formation. Now, the 18 Qinkuan swords that formed the Qinkuan sword formation were made up of 2 mid-grade Dao swords and 16 low-grade Dao swords. Their attacking power had increased by more than 10 times. Ha ha ha, Yi Qinfeng, I admit that you are the most talented young man I have ever seen. If not for the blood demon diagram, I would not have become your enemy. Sun Tu laughed and said, "Unfortunately, I have already repaired the blood demon diagram. Now that the blood demon diagram has merged with enough blood, it is enough to kill you." As he spoke, Sun Tu did not waste any more time. He summoned the blood demon diagram and merged with the power of the boiling blood pool to attack Yi Qinfeng. Shriek, 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 horrifying cries of ghosts sounded from the blood demon diagram. The demonic face in the blood demon diagram became clearer and clearer. It spat out a gust of bloody wind, which tore through the air and swept towards Yi Qinfeng. Qinkuan sword formation break. The bloody wind rushed towards him. Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the Qinkuan sword formation to meet it. Like a rain of swords, it pierced into the bloody wind, breaking the demonic face's attack in one fell swoop. Such great power! After the Qinkuan sword formation was upgraded, its power increased greatly. But when it pierced into the bloody wind, it was still met with great resistance. If the Qinkuan sword formation's attacking power was not strong enough, it would not have been able to tear the bloody wind apart. I haven't seen you for more than a year, and you have become even stronger. You are really impressive. But no matter how strong you are, you can't change your fate. I will use the blood demon diagram to suck all the blood from your body. Your blood will follow me and bear witness to my supreme achievement." As he spoke, Sun Tu controlled the blood demon diagram and merged it into his body, borrowing the power of the blood demon diagram. He directly broke through the limit of a level 6 combat beast emperor and possessed the strength of nirvana. What? You think you are invincible just because you have nirvana strength? I will let you know that you are just a frog at the bottom of a well. Feeling the sudden increase in Sun Tu's strength, Yi Chen-feng was not afraid at all. As long as Xia Wendy escaped, he could use the Black God Ant's invincible strength to control the situation and kill Sun Tuesday. He only needed to stall for time. Is that so? Sun Tu's eyes turned blood red. His strong body flashed in the air and charged towards Yi Chen-feng with boundless bloody light. The sword soul controlled the Qingkuan sword formation. As Sun Tu attacked, Yi Chen-feng immediately controlled the sword soul to merge into the Qingkuan sword formation and let it control the sword formation to attack Sun Tuesday. Then he pushed the Tao of life and death to the limit and blasted out the Tao of life and death. He condensed the Tao of life and death and blasted it towards Sun Tu's head. Yama's heavenly wheel Sun Tu quickly circulated the Yama tactics and condensed a large amount of Yama's heavenly wheel from his body. It clashed fiercely with the Qingkuan sword formation and the Tao of life and death. Because of the amplification of the blood demon diagram, the Yama's heavenly wheel, condensed by Sun Tu, was extremely powerful. After a series of intense collisions, not only did it dissolve the Tao of life and death, it also blocked the attack of the Qingkuan sword formation. 9 Netherwolf when Sun Tu borrowed the power of the blood demon diagram to forcefully close in on Yi Chen-feng. The 9 Netherwolf, a heavenly beast consecrated by the Sun Luo Temple, suddenly appeared and attacked Yi Chen-feng together with Sun Tuesday. They wanted to kill him as soon as possible and take everything from him. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 974. Sword Step. Yi Chen-feng did not panic when he was suddenly besieged. He took a step forward, and a sword diagram appeared. Dense sword Tao patterns attacked Gloom Butcher and the 9 Netherwolf who were close to him. Watermark advertisement test watermark advertisement testas for himself. He dodged to the side when the sword Tao patterns attacked, dodging the killer moves of the man and beast. His reaction was not slow, but it was still useless. Gloom Butcher locked his eyes on Yi Chen-feng. He borrowed the power of the blood demon diagram and attacked together with the 9 Netherwolf. Are you the only one with helpers? Qinggu Qiu, Ling, Shui He, quickly come out and help. With a thought, Yi Chen-feng summoned Qinggu Qiu and the other 2. He let the spirit fish deal with the 9 Netherwolf while he, Qinggu Qiu, and the King of Massacre attacked Gloom Butcher. Spatial treasure. I did not expect you to have such a treasure. It seems like I will gain a lot from killing you. Gloom Butcher revealed a greedy look. He borrowed the power of the blood demon diagram to block Yi Chen-feng and the other 2's attacks. Many people wanted to kill me, but unfortunately, they were all sent to hell by me. You will not be an exception. With that, Yi Chen-feng shook his wrist, and the Emperor Heaven's sword pierced out with lightning speed. It attacked Gloom Butcher together with the Cosmos sword formation derived by the sword soul. Qinggu Qiu and the King of Massacre also used their killer moves to attack Gloom Butcher. They wanted to injure him severely. Just as Gloom Butcher was about to be hit by Yi Chen-feng and the other 2's killer moves, the blood demon diagram appeared on his body and blocked the attacks. In the next moment, the blood demon diagram released a large amount of blood red light, which filled the entire space. It carried the power to destroy all living things and blasted towards Yi Chen-feng. PFFF. PFFF. In just one attack, the instant mirror light was shattered. The King of Massacre was severely injured and was sent flying hundreds of meters away, losing his ability to fight. Although Yi Chen-feng and Qinggu Qiu blocked the attack of the blood demon diagram, they were both injured. Green Heaven Secret Art. Heavenly Tao Chingu took a deep breath and suppressed his injuries. He gathered the power of the heavens to form a heavenly Tao disc and shot it towards Sun Tuesday. Meanwhile, after Yi Qinfeng teleported the heavily injured king of Massacre back to the universe realm, he controlled the three fused Tao intents and fused them into the universe sword formation. He increased the universe sword formation's power to the greatest extent and controlled the universe sword formation to attack Sun Tuesday. It's no use. Your attacks are useless against me. Having Nirvana's strength for a short period of time, Gloom Butcher had become too terrifying. He borrowed the power of the blood demon diagram to face the attack head-on, directly shattering the heavenly Tao disc and clashing with the cosmos sword formation. If not for the fact that the universe sword formation had been greatly upgraded and that Yi Qinfeng's soul had been tempered and strengthened beyond compare, he would have long been defeated by the terrifying Forest Butcher. Bloodline of gods and devil's blood of heaven. After witnessing how terrifying Gloom Butcher was, Yi Qinfeng and Yi Qingyu did not hesitate to burn their powerful bloodline power, greatly increasing their strength to face Gloom Butcher head-on. However, the power of the blood demon diagram was beyond imagination. With the help of this demonic treasure, Sun Tu was able to completely suppress Yi Qinfeng and Qingu Qiu, forcing them to retreat. Howl! Suddenly, a mournful wolf howl rang out. The spirit fish in her ape god form smashed the 9 netherwolf's head, ending its life. Spirit fish, don't come over. Gloom Butcher's strength was too terrifying. Yi Qinfeng was afraid that an accident would happen, so he immediately shouted at her. While Yi Qinfeng was distracted, Gloom Butcher unleashed the blood demon diagram. It was like a blood-red demonic mountain, crashing into the void. Under the full power of the blood demon diagram, a large area of the void began to distort. Cosmos sword formation combine. At the critical moment, Yi Qinfeng tapped the ground with the tip of his foot. As he retreated, he controlled the 18 cosmos swords to fuse together, forming a giant sword. With the power to destroy everything, he slashed forward. Under the attack of the cosmos sword, even the sky began to crack. Boom! The two powerful attacks collided, exploding with earth-shattering power. The chaotic, distorted space was riddled with holes. Ka-ka-ka. After 3 breaths, the giant sword formed by the 18 cosmos swords was blasted away by the blood demon diagram. A terrifying blood-red light beam shot towards Yi Qinfeng, forcing him to dodge with all his might. Blue Sky Seal Yi Qinfeng was no match for Gloom Butcher. Qingu Qiu, in his white robe, soared into the sky. He controlled the powerful power of the heavens to form a blue sky seal that was filled with innate Tao patterns. It crashed down like the sky, smashing towards Gloom Butcher. When the blue sky seal crashed down, Gloom Butcher quickly threw out a punch. The terrifying Tao intent quickly evolved into a demonic face. It crashed into the blue sky seal, shattering the blue sky seal. Heavenly Venerate bloodline combine. Gloom Butcher's strength was too strong. In order to resist him, Yi Qinfeng burned his Heavenly Venerate bloodline. He forcefully combined the 2 bloodlines to increase his strength to the greatest extent. Blue Sky Secret Art. After the God-Fiend bloodline and Heavenly Venerate bloodline merged, Yi Qinfeng's strength soared by several levels. He quickly circulated the Blue Sky Secret Art and formed 2 blue sky seals in succession, bombarding Gloom Butcher. I didn't expect you to have so many tricks up your sleeve. Gloom Butcher revealed a trace of surprise when he sensed that Yi Qinfeng's strength had greatly increased. However, this only strengthened his resolve to kill Yi Qinfeng. He would not be able to eat or sleep in peace if Yi Qinfeng was not eliminated. Demonic Blood Diagram. 10,000 demonic blood shadows. Gloom Butcher forcefully resisted the 2 blue sky seals. Using his own blood as a medium, he ignited the power of the demonic blood diagram. A large amount of blood-red light spread out from the demonic blood diagram, transforming into a large number of demonic shadows that roared and attacked Yi Qinfeng and Qinggu Qiu. Puff! Puff! In just 10 breaths, Qinggu Qiu, who was attacking with all his might, was severely injured by the 10,000 demonic blood shadows. He was teleported into Yi Qinfeng's universe, mirror in time. Although Yi Qinfeng relied on his powerful physical body to resist the 10,000 demonic blood shadows, he was also in a precarious situation. His physical body, which was almost at the level of a high-grade Dao artifact, exploded and a large amount of blood flowed out. Universe Sword Array, body protection. The situation was critical. Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the Universe Sword Array to revolve around his body, deducing the Sword Dao intent to the extreme to resist the 10,000 demonic blood shadows attacks. However, the demonic blood diagram had fused with enough blood and qi. Its power was extremely terrifying. It brought great pressure to Yi Qinfeng, causing the Universe Sword Array, which had been transformed into a sword vortex, to tremble violently. Nirvana was indeed terrifying. With Yi Qinfeng's current strength and methods, he could fight against a level 6 combat beast emperor. However, he was completely suppressed by Gloom Butcher, who had Nirvana strength. He was in a perilous situation. If his physical body was not strong enough, he had cultivated a sword soul. He had 3 bloodlines and the Universe Sword Array. He would have been killed by Gloom Butcher long ago. 9 Dragon Jade Annulus. As the pressure increased, Yi Qinfeng did not resign himself to death. With a thought, he summoned the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus and ignited his dragon bloodline, increasing his soul power by 7 times. He continuously poured his soul power into the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, controlling the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus to condense a world-destroying berserk dragon, which bombarded Gloom Butcher, who was covered in bloody light. Under the attack of the world-destroying berserk dragon, a large number of 10,000 demonic blood shadows were shattered. The terrifying berserk dragon let out a dragon roar that made people shudder as it fiercely bombarded Gloom Butcher. Not good. Feeling the destructive power of the world-destroying berserk dragon, Gloom Butcher's expression changed greatly. He quickly dodged without thinking. While he was dodging, Yi Qinfeng, whose soul power was almost depleted, rushed out with the Universe Sword Array. Suddenly, the sound of space cracking could be heard. While Yi Qinfeng was extremely weak, Xiao Wendai and the Black God broke through the illusion and rushed out. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 975. Yi Qinfeng, are you all right? Wendy could feel that Yi Qinfeng was very weak. She quickly came to his side and asked with concern, "Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement test. I'm fine. Don't let him escape." Yi Qinfeng drank a mouthful of returning heaven water to recover his depleted soul power. He shook his head and replied, "Don't worry. He won't be able to escape." Xia Wendy's eyes were filled with extreme confidence as she looked at Sun Tu with cold eyes. "Then I'll leave him to you." Yi Qinfeng knew Xia Wendy's strength and knew how terrifying the Black God Ant was. He quickly distanced himself from the battle and sat cross-legged on the ground to recover his depleted soul power. Saint Beast. So it was a Saint Beast. Sensing the terrifying demonic energy from the Black God Ant, Sun Tu finally knew why it was so terrifying. He revealed a trace of seriousness. He never expected that the opponent would have the help of a Saint Beast. He regretted that he didn't want to fight and take the risk to kill Yi Qinfeng. Whoosh! There was a flash of bloodlight under Sun Tu's feet. He gave up on the idea of killing Yi Qinfeng and wanted to break out. Wasn't it too late to leave now? Xia Wendy's reaction was even faster. She flashed in front of Sun Tu and blocked him, courting death. When Sun Tu saw that Xia Wendy dared to block him, His eyes were filled with dense, killing intent. He quickly circulated the Yama art and condensed a large amount of Yama, heavenly wheels, to attack, wanting to cut her body. Over 10 Yama heavenly wheels attacked, but Xia Wendy didn't dodge. She quickly blasted out a fist. A large amount of star Dao patterns surged out from her body and turned into a terrifying star Dao diagram. It directly shattered the 10 Yama heavenly wheels and blasted toward Sun Tu without any reduction in power. Blood demon diagram, demon shadow appearance. When the star Dao diagram arrived, Sun Tu immediately controlled the blood demon diagram to counterattack. He condensed a malevolent demon face with boundless demonic aura and clashed with the star Dao diagram. Rumble. The two powerful forces clashed together. There was an intense clash and an ear-piercing explosion. In the intense clash, the star Dao diagram and the demon face quickly shattered. Life and death Dao diagram seeing the star Dao diagram shattering. Xia Wendy struck out another palm strike. Life and death Dao patterns gushed out from her fist like a tidal wave. They converged into a life and death Dao diagram and blasted toward Sun Tu, whose expression changed drastically. It forced him to dodge miserably. The Dao diagram of the stars, the Dao diagram of life and death. Who are you? Yi Qinfeng was already monstrous enough, but Shinta didn't expect Xia Wendy to be even more monstrous than Yi Qinfeng. Not only did she cultivate to the 6th grade combat beast emperor realm at such a young age, but she also cultivated her star Dao intent and life and death Dao intent to perfection and condensed 2 Dao diagrams. Why do you care who I am? After condensing 2 great Dao diagrams and forcing Gloom Butcher to retreat, Xia Wendy continued to pursue and attack. She continuously used powerful Dao techniques to attack. Just as Sun Tu forcefully tore apart Xia Wendy's attack, the Black God Ant, which was as tall and sturdy as a black tower, appeared behind Sun Tu and blasted out a killing punch. Not good sensing danger behind him, Sun Tu immediately controlled the blood demon diagram to defend himself. When the Black God Ant's punch landed on the blood demon diagram, it immediately exploded with over 100 million pounds of strength. The rolling demonic energy was like a tidal wave that broke through a dam. It crazily attacked the blood demon diagram, which brought great pressure to Sun Tuesday. It shook the blood in his body violently. After the first punch, the Black God Ant blasted out a second and third punch. The terrifying fist might was as boundless as the ocean. It was boundless and boundless. It smashed Sun Tu and forced him to retreat step by step. Mouthful after mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth. Blood demon diagram. 10,000 demonic blood shadows unable to block the Black God Ant's attack. Sun Tu continuously spat out blood into the blood demon diagram. He continued to use his blood as a medium to activate the blood demon diagram's strongest power. It turned into a large amount of 10,000 demonic blood shadows, which roared and attacked Xia Wendy and the Black God Ant. Once Xia Wendy and the Black God Ant were surrounded by the 10,000 demonic blood shadows, he would have the opportunity to break out and leave this place. Earthquake Technique, a large amount of 10,000 demonic blood shadows roared over. The Black God Ant's rolling demonic power and physical power merged together, forming an extremely fast frequency earthquake technique in the void. With his body as the center, the earthquake technique radiated out in all directions, engaging in an intense battle with the 10,000 demonic blood shadows. Following the dense explosion sounds, the entire void was distorted by the powerful energy fluctuations from the collision. In an instant, the Black God Ant and Sun Tu were swept inside, forcibly stopping Sun Tu's thoughts of breaking out. With the help of the blood demon diagram's power, although Sun Tu temporarily possessed nirvana strength, his physical defense was far inferior to the Black God Ant's. After being hit by wave after wave of destructive power, his body's injuries continued to worsen. His flesh was torn in many places, revealing his white bones. Heavenly demon blood Artsin, too, didn't care about his injuries. He burned all the blood in his body and used his ultimate killing move. This was because he knew that he had no way out. He could only fight with his life on the line. Otherwise, only death awaited him. Compared to the true demon tribe's demon king, you are too weak. Although Sun too had killed a large number of his tribe members and used their blood to increase the power of the blood demon diagram, giving him nirvana strength compared to the demon king who had taken the nirvana pill, there was still a large gap. The black god Ant was able to severely injure the demon king, so he naturally didn't put Sun too, who only had nirvana's early stage strength, in his eyes. His fists were like two dragons as he punched out. The terrifying power shattered the void and destroyed Forest Butcher's killing move as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. His fists landed on Forest Butcher's chest. Crack! Sun two's defense was broken. His chest was caved in by the black god Ant's attack. A large amount of blood, mixed with pieces of internal organs, sprayed out from his mouth. His entire body fell from the sky, creating a large hole in the ground. The power he used to fuse with the blood demon diagram was also destroyed by the black god Ant. He lost his strongest power. The moment Sun too fell to the ground, Xia Wendy's star Dao diagram slashed down, cutting open the ground and cutting off Sun two's legs. With his legs cut off by Xia Wendy, Sun too was in so much pain that he wanted to die. At this moment, his heart was filled with regret. He regretted taking the risk to kill Yi Qinfeng. If he had used the blood demon diagram to force his way out, Yi Qinfeng definitely wouldn't have been able to stop him. Xia Wendy, black god Ant, don't kill him. He is still useful. I want to search his soul. With the help of the heaven returning water, Yi Qinfeng, who had recovered a portion of his soul power, shouted. The true demon race had hidden themselves too deeply. If he wanted to find their headquarters, he would have to search Sun two's soul. Don't worry, I will leave him with one last breath for you. Sun two's actions had touched Xia Wendy's reverse scale. Therefore, Xia Wendy showed no mercy to Sun Tuesday. She controlled the 4 beast flags to seal his body and prevent him from committing suicide. She began to vent the anger in her heart. In just 10 breaths of time, Sun two's entire body was torn apart except for his head. He lay in a pool of blood on the verge of death. He only had one last breath left. Now can I soul search him? Yi Qinfeng asked softly as he slowly walked over. He glanced at Xia Wendy, who had beaten Sun two so badly that he no longer resembled a human. After obtaining Xia Wendy's tacit approval, Yi Qinfeng activated the soul-devouring art and began to search Sun two's soul. Soon, Yi Qinfeng obtained the information he needed from Sun two's soul. He exerted a bit of strength and directly broke Sun two's neck. An ambitious and ruthless character, Sun two, who was titled Yellow Springs, had fallen into the Yellow Springs and died. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 976. Sun Tu was dead. When Kong Sungchin's group broke through the illusion and arrived at the forbidden ground of Sun Luo Temple, they saw Sun Tu's decapitated body and dead body with a complicated expression. Although they hated Sun Tu's ruthlessness, bloodthirstiness, and madness, he was still from the same generation as them. Now that he was dead, there was one less person from their generation, and they would be even lonelier. Xia Wendy, 3 seniors, I want this blood demon diagram. Can I have it? After witnessing the might of the demonic blood diagram, Yi Qinfeng's interest in this evil object was piqued. Like person, like treasure, this saying was not wrong at all. Xia Wendy glanced at Yi Qinfeng and faintly said, Kong Sungchin's group did not compete with Yi Qinfeng and gave the diagram and Sun Tu's belongings to Yi Qinfeng. Come, let's go to Sun Luo Temple's treasury and take a look. This territory controlled by Sun Luo Temple will be given to you 3 seniors. After taking away the diagram and Sun Tu's belongings, Yi Qinfeng's group searched through Sun Luo Temple's treasury and found many rare items. Among them, there were many things that caught Yi Qinfeng's interest. After dividing up the Dark Azura Hall's treasury, Yi Qinfeng didn't go on a killing spree. Instead, he handed over the task of swallowing the Dark Azura Hall to the 3 great clans. They hurried to the true spirit devil realm, preparing to eradicate this malignant tumor of the star Luo continent. They finally arrived at the dry lake. Yi Qinfeng's group flew for more than 2 days and arrived at a dark mountain range. In the depths of this mountain range, they found a lake embedded in the rocks. Because of this special geographical environment, there was no vegetation around the lake. It was completely bare, and this was where the name Dry Lake came from. The True Demon tribe really knows how to find places. If Sun Tu had not been here before, we would not have found it. Yi Qinfeng looked at the calm lake without a single ripple. It was hard to imagine that the true spirit devil domain was at the bottom of this lake. Come, let's go down the lake. Although the True Demon tribe had an extraordinary foundation and a heaven-defying item like the Nirvana pill, the True Demon tribe could not threaten their lives with the Black God Ant's protection. Bang, 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 waves of water splashed as Yi Qinfeng and the others broke into the quiet and desolate lake. They immediately felt the power of the restriction. Crack! Yi Qinfeng and the others relied on their absolute strength to tear apart the hidden restrictions in the lake. Through the pitch-black and icy lake water, they could vaguely see a vast group of buildings at the bottom of the lake that were shrouded in restrictions. Ao, Ao ferocious roars echoed from the isolation barrier at the bottom of the lake. 2 strange snakes, which looked like flood dragons and had huge lumps on their heads, swam up from the bottom of the lake. They opened their bloody mouths and bared their long fangs, attacking Yi Qinfeng and the others. A mere level 8 heavenly beast dares to attack us? Xiao Wendai let out a cold snort. Suddenly, she approached an attacking black, monstrous snake. A large amount of star Dao patterns gushed out from her body. She struck out with her palm, and hundreds of star Dao inscriptions turned into a dazzling star Dao diagram that blasted towards a black strange snake that was close to her. No dodge! The moment Xia Wendai attacked, the God-Eater brain sensed something was wrong. Yi Qinfeng quickly appeared in front of Xia Wendai, using his body to shield her. Boom! The black monstrous snake was attacked by Xia Wendai's star Dao diagram and immediately shattered. Following that, a terrifying power erupted from the monstrous snake's huge body. Like an erupting volcano, it blasted towards Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendai. Golden Body, Secret suddenly attacked by the black monstrous snake's self-explosion. Yi Qinfeng didn't have time to bring Xia Wendai into the universe realm. He immediately used the Golden Body secrets, covering his body with a layer of defensive golden light, forcefully resisting the self-explosion. When the first black monstrous snake exploded, the second one also approached at an extremely fast speed. It exploded its body and launched a fatal attack towards Yi Qinfeng. The self-explosion of the 2 black monstrous snakes was enough to kill an ordinary level 6 combat beast emperor. However, Yi Qinfeng's physical body's defense was too terrifying. With the help of the Golden Body Secret's defense, he forcefully resisted the self-explosion. PFFF Yi Qinfeng and Xiao Wendai were blown away by the self-explosion. Yi Qinfeng endured 90% of the attack and was heavily injured. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. Yi Qinfeng, are you all right? Seeing Yi Qinfeng spitting out blood to save her, Xiao Wendai immediately supported him and asked anxiously, I'm fine. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He then controlled the life Dao pattern to heal his injuries. Thank you. Xiao Wendai looked at Yi Qinfeng, who saved her time and time again. She was quite touched. If it wasn't for Yi Qinfeng sacrificing himself to save her, she would have been heavily injured with her physical body's defense. Everyone be careful. This true spirit devil domain is very dangerous. After controlling the life Dao pattern to heal his injuries, Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendai came to the side of Kong Sungqin and the others. They worked together to break open the void restriction formation and entered inside. No one looking at the true spirit devil domain that looked like an underwater dragon palace. Yi Qinfeng immediately released his soul spirit. However, he realized that there wasn't a trace of life in the entire true spirit devil domain. After sensing the danger, the true demon race had already evacuated this place. Now that the true demon race was empty, Yi Qinfeng and the others were empty-handed. Come, let's go in and take a look. While speaking, Yi Qinfeng led the group into the empty true spirit devil domain. Yellow spiritual essence sculpture, jade spirit stone tree, purple jade crystal. After entering the true spirit devil domain, Yi Qinfeng and the others found plenty of undamaged rare items. If these rare items were to be sold in the outside world, they would be sold for a sky-high price. After dividing up these rare items, Yi Qinfeng and the others followed the long corridor that was engraved with plenty of totems and walked into the true spirit devil domain. They discovered that in 100 Her Garden there was a half-meter tall tree that was dark purple in color. It had sparse branches and leaves. 2 sparkling fruits that looked like lychees were hanging down. Violet jade fruit. That was the violet jade fruit. After looking at the 2 lychee-shaped fruits, the eyes of Kong Sungqin and the others lit up with excitement. The violet jade fruit was a sentient item. It bloomed every 100 years and bore fruit every 100 years. Not only could the violet jade fruit nourish one's body, but it also had the miraculous ability to increase one's lifespan. Wait a moment, Senior White. Is there a problem with these 2 violet jade fruits? Just as Bai Feng was about to step forward and take the fruits, Yi Qinfeng suddenly called out to him. Could it be? After hearing Yi Qinfeng's voice, Bai Feng stopped and retreated a few steps. Would the true demon race be so kind as to leave such precious items to us? After saying this much, Yi Qinfeng directly shot a sword-type Dao pattern toward the violet jade fruit. Boom! Boom! When the violet jade fruit was attacked by the sword-type Dao pattern, it exploded without warning. The terrifying power directly blasted a bottomless hole in the ground, causing space to collapse. As expected, it was a trap. Xia Wendy ground her teeth and said, "Let's go and take a look at the main hall." Yi Qinfeng's heart didn't have any ripples. When the collapsed space gradually recovered, he led everyone into the pitch-black True Demon main hall. When he entered the True Demon main hall, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. Then he revealed a bitter smile. On the white jade carved wall of the True Demon main hall, there was a line of graceful handwriting. Yi Qinfeng, the man I like, I'm leaving. Don't miss me. Yi Qinfeng, what is your relationship with her? When Xia Wendy saw the words left on the wall, she immediately guessed that it was left behind by Shui Hanyan. It was as though she was a little wife who found out that her husband was cheating on her. She stared with a pair of big eyes and questioned fiercely. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 977. Ancient Pine, Strange Peak, Waterfall, Taoist Temple. After leaving the True Spirit Devil area, Yi Qinfeng, Xia Wendy, and Black God Ant came to the Taoist Temple, where they met Luo Shen and asked to see him. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test Kong Sungqin, and the other 2 returned to their respective families and gathered the top masters of their families, preparing to launch a counterattack against Xingluo Sky City. Junior Yi Qinfeng greets Senior Luo. I wonder if Senior Luo can show himself? Yi Qinfeng bowed deeply towards the dilapidated Taoist temple and said respectfully, Senior, Junior already knows the secret of Xingluo Sky City and is preparing to gather the power of White, Jiang, and Green Jade Palace to destroy the foundation of the Sky Clan. I wonder if Senior can show up and help. Yi Qinfeng waited for a while and continued, Let's go, Xiao Wendy. After speaking, Yi Qinfeng turned and walked to Xia Wendy, who was standing on the side. He left just like that? Xia Wendy asked in surprise. You don't want to wait any longer? If Senior wants to hear it, then you will hear it. If Senior doesn't want to hear it, then it's useless to wait. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said, It seemed to make sense. Xia Wendy nodded. After speaking, they didn't wait any longer. They left the broken temple and flew out of the beautiful mountain range. As soon as they left, a blurry figure appeared and glanced at the direction they left. His body slightly flashed and then mysteriously disappeared. Yi Qinfeng, let's go to Xingluo Sky City now. After leaving the endless mountain range that was like a dragon crouching in an abyss, Xia Wendy asked softly. No hurry. Senior Jiang went back to gather the masters. It will take about 10 days to get to Xingluo Sky City. I want to go to Falling Star Pavilion first to see the situation there. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said, Falling Star Pavilion, why go there? Is your little lover there? Xia Wendy asked suspiciously. Xia Wendy, can't we have a nice chat? Yi Qinfeng was speechless. He rolled his eyes at Xia Wendy and said, The Falling Star Pavilion helped me before, and Xia Bingyun and the others know about my relationship with the Falling Star Pavilion. I am afraid that the Falling Star Pavilion will be retaliated because of me. Those people that helped you were all women, right? Xia Wendy curled her lips and said. Yi Qinfeng was speechless. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's go to the Falling Star Pavilion. After saying that, Yi Qinfeng took Xia Wendy and flew towards the Falling Star Pavilion at an extremely fast speed. According to the topographic map of the Xingluo continent, Yi Qinfeng entered the territory of the Falling Star Pavilion after traveling for nearly 2 days. Yes, there's a fierce battle ahead. Let's hurry over and take a look. Flying over a lush forest, Yi Qinfeng's sharp soul perception detected a fierce battle in the forest. Raising his eyebrows slightly, he immediately flew over. Xing, Keru after flying closer. Yi Qinfeng saw a familiar figure through the dense shade of the trees. This familiar figure was the Falling Star Pavilion's Vice Pavilion Master, Xing Keru. Sure enough, the Falling Star Pavilion was under attack. Yi Qinfeng's eyes flashed with a fierce look. His whole body suddenly accelerated. Like a bolt of lightning streaking across the sky, he flew over and appeared in front of Xing Keru, who was covered in blood and heavily injured. Wind and dust Xing Keru, who had fallen into despair and was bleeding from her chest, suddenly saw a person appear in front of her. She was stunned. When she saw that the person descending from the sky was Yi Qinfeng, her eyes widened and she fell into a deep surprise. Damn, where did this wild brat come from? Dai, a man holding a black spear, wearing silver armor, and with a clear scar at the corner of his eye, roared and thrust his spear at Yi Qinfeng's chest. Under his all-out attack, the spear in his hand was like a flood dragon emerging from the sea. It was unstoppable, and the friction caused the air to emit an ear-piercing sound. Facing this fatal spear, Yi Qinfeng did not dodge. Instead, he extended a finger and tapped it. When his fingertip touched the tip of the black spear, a sharp sword Dao pattern shot out from his fingertip. The terrifying power directly pierced through the high-grade heaven tier black spear, and its might did not diminish as it pointed at the shocked silver-armored man. Chi! The silver-armored man was sent flying by Yi Qinfeng's finger. The unstoppable finger light directly pierced through the silver armor and pierced through his body. Bang! The silver-armored man was sent flying 100 meters away. He crashed into an ancient tree that was dozens of meters tall, and his head tilted to the side as he died. Yi Qinfeng instantly killed a supreme king with a single finger. This shocked everyone present. Seizing this opportunity, the injured Falling Star Pavilion disciples quickly retreated behind Yi Qinfeng, seeking protection. "Are you from the Falling Star Pavilion?" A half-step combat beast emperor elder with white hair and wearing a dark gray robe looked at Yi Qinfeng with a deep gaze and questioned in a low voice. "No," Yi Qinfeng replied with an indifferent expression. "Since you are not from the Falling Star Pavilion, I advise you not to get involved in this mess. Otherwise, your life will be in danger." Yi Qinfeng's finger strike was too stunning. The gray-robed elder was shocked. He did not want to have a direct confrontation with Yi Qinfeng, so he warned coldly, "I don't believe in evil." Yi Qinfeng's lips curved up slightly, and he said domineeringly, "Plus, you guys are not enough to threaten my life. Although you are strong, you are only one person. House Xiahou is the overlord of this region. Do you think you can shake House Xiahou by yourself?" Seeing the sharp light shooting out from Yi Qinfeng's eyes, the gray-robed elder had no choice but to use House Xiahou to pressure Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng from House Xiahou revealed a trace of murderous intent and said domineeringly, "It won't be long before I erase House Xiahou from Xingluo continent. Who do you think you are?" A proud expert from House Xiahou roared angrily, "I am Yi Qinfeng, the Black Cliff Yi Qinfeng that Sha Tinya mentioned," said arrogantly. Black Cliff hearing Yi Qinfeng's name, the experts from House Xiahou widened their eyes. A tremor that came from the deepest part of their souls spread throughout their bodies, making them tremble as if they had been electrocuted. You are really Black Cliff?" The gray-robed elder with a pale face gulped and took 2 steps back, asking in horror, "Do you think I am lying?" Yi Qinfeng's lips curved up slightly, revealing a grim smile. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng took a light step forward, and the sword diagram appeared. The extremely sharp, sword-based Dao pattern shot out and attacked the shocked, gray-robed elder and the others. In just one breath, the 13 experts from House Xiahou who were chasing after the Falling Star Pavilion died in a pool of blood, leaving only the half-step combat beast emperor alive, the gray-robed elder covered in blood. Witnessing the scene in front of him, the gray-robed elder spat out blood and retreated in defeat. His eyes widened, and his body trembled as if he had a stroke. At this moment, he completely believed Yi Qinfeng's identity. He knew that words were useless, and that he had reached the end of his life. Blood slaughtering the world, the gray-robed elder roared, burning all of his blood and qi, and launched a fatal attack towards Yi Qinfeng. His whole body merged with the long spear in his hand and turned into a bloody shadow, stabbing towards Yi Qinfeng, wanting to injure him before he died. Rumble! A deafening explosion rang out as a giant hand of 5 elements descended from the sky, causing the world to tremble violently as it pressed down on his body. It directly crushed his body and ended his life. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 978. Fengqin, you broke through again? Xingkeru and the others were stunned when they saw Yi Qinfeng's shocking strength. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement testes. I broke through not long ago. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, "By the way, Vice Pavilion Master, how are Yuan Feng, Manu, and the others? How is the Falling Star Pavilion now?" "Yuan Feng is dead. He was killed by the Falling Star Pavilion. Man Yu, Miao Yu, and the others are trapped in the Falling Star City. Their situation shouldn't be good. We took the risk to break out of the encirclement to get reinforcements, but they chased after us. If we hadn't met you, we wouldn't have been able to escape." Xingkeru said angrily, "Yuan Feng was dead." Yi Qinfeng's expression became extremely ugly. He had a good impression of Xing Yuan Feng, who was straightforward and straightforward. Moreover, if Xing Yuanfeng hadn't met him, Yi Chenfeng felt that Xing Yuanfeng wouldn't have died, and the Falling Star Pavilion wouldn't have suffered any retaliation. Sha, Tianya, I will kill you. Yi Chenfeng's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He wanted to kill the culprit, Sha Tianya. Don't be sad. Let's go to the Falling Star Pavilion now and make House Xiahou pay for what they've done. Xia Wendy flew over from the horizon and appeared beside Yi Chenfeng, who was filled with murderous intent. She comforted him softly. Come, let's go to the Falling Star Pavilion. Yi Chenfeng nodded. Then he led Xing Keru and the others to the Falling Star Pavilion, which was in danger. When Yi Chenfeng and the others arrived at the Falling Star City, where the Falling Star Pavilion was located, they discovered that there was a fierce battle taking place in the city. The thick smell of blood drifted in the air, dyeing the air red. Because the Falling Star Pavilion's overall strength was far inferior to House Xiahou, they suffered heavy casualties. However, most of the disciples of the Falling Star Pavilion had fearless expressions on their faces. They gave their all, using their blood and lives to protect the dignity of the Falling Star Pavilion. Xing Hongyang, are you still going to struggle in vain? If you don't obediently surrender, don't blame me for slaughtering all of your disciples and erasing your Falling Star Pavilion from Xingluo continent. Xiahou Longda, the head of House Xiahou, hovered in midair in a luxurious robe and a pair of cloud-soar boots. His bearing was extraordinary as he glared coldly at the Falling Star Pavilion's master. Humph! There are no cowards in my Falling Star Pavilion. We would rather die standing than live on our knees. The Falling Star Pavilion master, Xing Hongyang, snorted coldly and said fearlessly, Xing Hongyang, are you sure that I won't kill you? That's why you are speaking so righteously. Xiahou Longda smiled disdainfully and said arrogantly, that's right. You still have an important position. I won't kill you. However, before I hand you over to Xingluo Sky City, I can torture you. I wonder if you want to have a taste of my methods. Pa Xiahou Longda's eyes blurred as soon as he finished speaking. A fierce gust of wind slammed into the left side of his face, breaking through his soul force defenses and sending him flying. A large amount of blood, mixed with broken teeth, sprayed out from his mouth, staining it with blood. This sudden scene also shocked everyone present, making them feel as if they were in a dream. Fuck, who is it? Xiahou Longda roared in exasperation. The aura that he had worked so hard to create was completely destroyed by this slap. He was so angry that he wanted to kill someone. Pa! As Xiahou Longda roared in anger, another figure appeared in front of him. Fuck, go to hell! Xiahou Longda locked onto the figure that suddenly approached him and launched a fatal attack without hesitation. He stabbed forward with a golden spear that was engraved with a large number of Tao patterns. Suddenly, a strong force of dizziness slammed into his mind like a heavy hammer, causing his soul to tremble. He felt a strong sense of dizziness, and his powerful attack was forcibly interrupted. In the next moment, both sides of his face were attacked consecutively. The ear-piercing sound of slapping rang out in midair and reverberated throughout the Falling Star City. House head-seeing Xiahou Longda being slapped in front of everyone. Two loyal elders of the Xiahou family quickly rushed forward and used powerful Tao techniques to attack the illusory figure in midair. They wanted to save the defenseless Xiahou Longda. When the two elders got close to the illusory figure, streaks of sharp swordlight shot out from the illusory figure. They were like meteors that streaked across the sky, easily tearing apart their attacks and penetrating their bodies, killing them on the spot. Who are you? Xiahou Longda, whose face was completely unrecognizable and whose mouth was dripping with blood, witnessed the scene of two rank 1 combat beast emperors being instantly killed. The anger in his heart was immediately replaced by fear as he asked fearfully, Who do you think I am? Yi Chenfeng, who had rushed over in time, stood in midair and looked at the bruised and swollen Xiahou Longda as he spoke coldly. Hey Yen, why are you here? looking at Yi Qinfeng's familiar face. A fear that came from the deepest part of his soul took over his entire body. Slowly, the fear in his soul turned into despair. His entire body began to tremble uncontrollably. I've annihilated the Dark Azura Hall and the true demon clan. Naturally, I have to come here to take a look. Unfortunately, I saw something I didn't want to see the most. Therefore, you will have to pay with your blood for your atrocities. Yi Qinfeng said with murderous intent. No, young Master He Yan, we were forced to do this. If we didn't obey Xingluo Sky City, our Xiahou family would be wiped out by them. We really had no other choice. Please, young Master He Yan, be magnanimous and let us go. I promise that I won't step into the Falling Star Pavilion's territory for the rest of my life. After learning that the Dark Azura Hall and the True Demon Clan were annihilated, the last trace of hope in Xiahou Longda's heart was shattered. He was like a stray dog, wagging his tail and begging for mercy, begging Yi Qinfeng to spare his life. Don't you understand that the winner is the king and the loser is the bandit? Xiahou Longda, show me your backbone. That way, you can at least die a glorious death. Facing Xiahou Longda's begging, Yi Qinfeng was unmoved and said without a trace of emotion, You really won't let me go? Xiahou Longda bit his lips tightly, trying to dispel the fear in his heart as he said with a trembling voice, I want to avenge those who died because of you, so you must die. Yi Qinfeng said coldly, He Yan, I admit that I am not your match. However, the situation is basically under my control now. With a single order from me, at least 20 disciples of the Falling Star Pavilion will die with me. If you are willing to let them die with me, then do it. Xiahou Longda used his trump card and said, Don't worry. The childish Yi Qinfeng said indifferently. As soon as he finished speaking, screams rang out from the Fallen Star City. The 3 level 8 heavenly beasts, Xia Wendy, Black God Ant, and Qinggu Qiu, who had been hiding in the city, suddenly attacked, slaughtering the experts of House Xiahou like autumn leaves. In just 4 breaths, more than 20 experts of House Xiahou died in a pool of blood. Demon, you are the demon. Hearing the screams echoing in his ears, Xiahou Longda fell into despair and said in fear, You are right, I am the demon. As he said that, Yi Qinfeng suddenly attacked. Nearly 100 sword Dao runes slid along his arm, forming a 10-meter-long light sword that cut through all obstacles and slashed toward Xiahou Longda, who was defending with all his might. Chi! The sound of air being torn apart was heard. The sharp light sword broke through Xiahou Longda's defense and cut him in half from head to toe, killing him on the spot. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 979. At night, the sky was filled with stars. The sparkling starlight and the warty moonlight intertwined, illuminating the land. After killing Xiahou Longda and the enemy, Yi Qinfeng immediately escorted the people from the Falling Star Pavilion to the Jiang family, which was the closest to Meteor City. He temporarily arranged for them to stay in the Jiang family to prevent any accidents from happening. At the Jiang family, Yi Qinfeng learned that Kong Sungqin had already left the Jiang family's old mansion with a group of Jiang family experts and headed to Xingluo Sky City. He did not stay for long and rushed to Xingluo Sky City overnight, preparing to rendezvous with Kong Sungqin and the others to launch the final attack on Xingluo Sky City. Father, our spies just sent news that Xiahou Longda and the others are dead. Our plan to kidnap the people from the Falling Star Pavilion to threaten the Black Lava Nation has failed. Sha Bingyan, who was wearing a long black dress and had a unique aura that blended with the darkness, walked to Sha Tianya's courtyard. She looked at Sha Tianya, who was standing in the courtyard with his hands behind his back and looking up at the moon, and said faintly, What a ruthless method! They completely destroyed all of my plans. The Black Lava Nation is truly my nemesis. Sha Tianya withdrew his gaze from the warty crescent moon. His face was expressionless, making it impossible for others to guess what he was thinking. Moreover, according to reliable sources, the Dark Azura Hall has been destroyed. Yi Qinfeng and the others even went to the True Spirit Devil Domain, but the True Spirit Devil Domain was already empty. They abandoned us and disappeared without a trace. Sha Bingyin said somewhat angrily, I also thought of this outcome. After all, the Xingluo continent is not their world. Under the circumstances where the situation is out of control, they will definitely not take the risk to live and die with us. Sha Tianya said slowly, Father, do you think we can survive this crisis? Sha Bingyin said uneasily, although they could borrow the power of Xingluo Sky City to increase their strength, Yi Qinfeng's power was too terrifying. Moreover, he had the help of a sacred beast. This made her instinctively fear him. Once they failed, only death awaited them. On the surface, Xingluo Heaven City belongs to our Sha family, and we are the masters of Xingluo Heaven City. However, the real master of Xingluo Heaven City is the Heaven Race, and we are only the representatives of the Heaven Race. Therefore, if they want to destroy us, it is equivalent to destroying the Celestial Race's inheritance. Do you think the Celestial Race will sit by and do nothing? Sha Tianya's eyes flashed with a fierce light. Father, you're saying that there are still Tian clan experts in Xingluo Heaven City. Sha Bingyun's eyes lit up, as if she had grasped the last straw that could turn the situation around. Although I have not seen anyone from the Heaven clan in the past 10,000 years, I am certain that there are still experts from the Heaven clan in the Xingluo continent, and it is highly possible that the experts from the Heaven clan are in deep slumber in Heaven City. Sha Tianya said, If we really have the help of the Tian clan experts, then we will definitely be able to survive this crisis. At that time, I will definitely remove the 3 great powers from Xingluo continent. Thinking about the strength of the experts from the lower realms of the Heaven domain, Sha Bingyun's uneasy heart finally relaxed. However, what Sha Bingyun did not know was that Sha Tianya did not have full confidence in the upcoming battle. He still could not figure out how Yi Qinfeng managed to come out alive from the heavenly tomb, and what secrets he was hiding on his body. Time passed day by day under extreme pressure. In order to obtain the final victory, Sha Bingyin took control of the entire Xingluo Heaven City and worked hard to eliminate any unstable factors in Heaven City. The defense of Xingluo Heaven City was also raised to the highest level to defend against any dangers that might appear in the ancestral realm. Roughly 10 days later, the experts from the Jiang family by family and Jasper Palace arrived one after another. They gathered in the Black Wind Prairie, waiting for Yi Qinfeng, Xiao Wendy, and the rest. News of the 3 great powers' arrival had also reached Sha Tianya's and Sha Bingyun's ears. However, they did not act rashly. Instead, they patiently guarded Xingluo Heaven City. Only in Xingluo Heaven City could they display 500% of their strength. So, 2 ear-piercing sounds suddenly rang out in the sky above the Black Wind Prairie. After rushing through the night, Yi Qinfeng arrived outside Xingluo Heaven City on a Pegasus and Xiao Wendy, who was riding on a black god Ancien Kong Sungqin, and the rest who had been waiting for him for many days. Yi Qinfeng said apologetically, My apologies, seniors, for making you wait for so long. We went to the Falling Star Pavilion and were delayed for some time. Qingfeng, did you manage to invite that senior? Kong Sungqin and the rest knew that Yi Qinfeng had gone to invite the guardian, Luo Xin, and asked expectantly. Fortunately, I did not disappoint. Luo Xin promised that if the situation goes out of control and an enemy that we are unable to deal with appears, he will appear to help us. Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile and said, Hearing that Yi Qinfeng was lying, Xia Wendy immediately glanced at him. However, the intelligent Xia Wendy soon understood the reason why Yi Qinfeng was lying. He wanted to increase the confidence of Kong Sungqin and the rest and dispel their worries. Only in this way could they display their full strength. That's good. Hearing that the guardian of the human race, Luo Xin, was willing to help, Kong Sung-chin and the rest, secretly, heaved a sigh of relief and revealed a trace of excitement. Seniors, how many formation flags did you bring? Yi Chin-feng changed the topic. The three of us brought a total of 3,700 supreme grade formation flags and more than 10,000 ordinary formation flags. Kong Sung-chin and the rest did not hide anything. They took out all the formation flags they brought from their families and handed them over to Yi Chin-feng. When Yi Chin-feng plundered Sun Luo Hall's treasury and Sun Tu's relics, he also obtained more than 5,000 formation flags. Adding the formation flags that Kong Sung-chin and the rest gave him, the number of formation flags he controlled was close to 20,000. It was enough to set up a huge formation that could resist Xingluo Sky City's sky covering formation. Wendy, there is no time to lose. Let's start setting up the formation now. Xia, Wendy's attainments and formations were also very deep. Yi Chin-feng let her set up the formation with him. The formation that Yi Chin-feng wanted to set up was a powerful killing formation that he had deduced over a long period of time using the God-Eater brain. He named this formation the Sky-Destroying Formation. After telling Xia, Wendy the method to set up the Sky-Destroying Formation, the two of them began to control the 20,000 formation flags to insert into the air. They interweaved with each other and began to set up the formation. In order to increase the power of the Sky-Destroying Formation to the limit and resist Xingluo Sky City's sky covering formation, Yi Chin-feng and Xia, Wendy worked hard to set up the formation to the limit. After nearly 3 days of setting up the formation, nearly 20,000 formation flags were inserted into the air. They fused together and formed a sky-destroying formation that covered several hundred kilometers. It flowed with streaks of black light. Phew, we finally succeeded. Yi Chin-feng and Xia Wendy, whose faces were slightly pale, looked at each other and saw the excitement in each other's eyes when they saw the reproduction formation runes fusing together and complementing each other in the Great Heaven Extermination Formation. After setting up the Sky-Destroying Formation, Yi Chin-feng and Xia Wendy quickly adjusted their breathing and recovered the soul power and soul force they had consumed. About 6 hours later, Yi Chin-feng and Xia Wendy had adjusted themselves to their best condition. Both of them merged into the heart of the Great Heaven Extermination Formation. With great tacit understanding, they simultaneously made complicated hand seals, controlling the Great Heaven Extermination Formation that was like a vast ocean, breaking through the layers of forbidden space patterns and ascending into the sky. Sha, Tianya, are you ready? Yi Chin-feng's clothes fluttered in the wind as he stood in the heart of the formation. His roar was like a dragon's roar and a tiger's roar that shook the sky. It was like a thunderclap that reverberated in the sky above Xingluo Sky City. In the next moment, the sky-destroying formation was activated. It gathered the extremely multiplied Dao runes. Like a meteor shower or a river, it launched a fatal attack on the sky-covering formation that enveloped Xingluo Sky City. The final battle was about to begin. Remember the website, Sanwood Chinese Network. Chapter 980, Rumble. When the Sky Exterminating Array released its power and bombarded the Sky Enveloping Array that enveloped Xingluo Sky City, it caused the Sky Enveloping Array to tremble violently. A large number of array runes appeared in the vast void, condensing into a fog-like power that boiled in the void, tearing apart the Sky Exterminating Array runes. The Sky Exterminating Array runes that were like a surging river were constantly being torn apart by the Sky Enveloping Array. Yi Chin-feng and Xia Wendy, who were at the heart of the array, were rapidly forming complicated hand seals to increase the power of the Sky Exterminating Array. Instantly, nearly 20,000 array flags vibrated and gathered into tens of thousands of Sky Exterminating Array runes. They continued to attack the Sky Enveloping Array, shattering the fog-like power of the array runes. The Sky Exterminating Array and the Sky Enveloping Array clashed fiercely in the 9 heavens. It was like two armies facing off against each other. Rumble, rumble, rumble. For a moment, all the sounds between heaven and earth were swallowed. The terrifying collision formed a terrifying shockwave that exploded violently in the void. Looking at the explosion of light in the sky, the people of Xingluo Sky City were stunned. The terrifying power made their legs go soft, and they had an impulse to kneel down and worship. What a good move! He actually thought of using an array to break an array and weaken the power of the sky-enveloping array so that we can't use the sky-enveloping array to attack. Sha Tianya stood at the huge city gate of Xingluo Sky City and couldn't help but frown as he looked at the two ancient arrays that were fiercely attacking each other. The sky-enveloping array was passed down from ancient times. How could his ancient array contend against it? Sha Bingyin, who was wearing a tight-fitting martial arts suit and had a curvaceous figure, said coldly with a mature charm, "No, you have underestimated He Yan's means. I can feel that the power of the sky-enveloping array is being restrained. The ancient array that he has set up has the upper hand." Sha Tianya shook his head, and the solemn expression on his face became even more intense. "Sai, why is he my enemy?" Sha Tianya sighed softly and muttered in his heart. However, he didn't know that Yi Qinfeng had met the 8th Slaughter War Emperor before. All the grudges between them originated from more than 10,000 years ago. The battle between the two ancient formations became more and more intense. The void couldn't bear it anymore and started to crack like a spider web. Suddenly, a huge crack appeared on the heaven-enveloping array that enveloped Xingluo Heaven City, causing Xingluo Heaven City to tremble slightly. The great formation of heaven is broken. We are entering the city. Standing in mid-air, Kong Sungqin and the others, who were waiting for an opportunity, did not hesitate. They all raised their speed to the peak and flew toward the crack in the great formation of heaven, charging into Xingluo Heavenly City. Those who trespass into Xingluo Heavenly City shall die. More than 10 experts from Xingluo Heaven City went up to meet them. They summoned an extremely powerful array diagram, wanting to form an array to defend against the 3 great clans. Death, the black god ant, who was leading the charge, let out a roar and threw a punch at the rapidly spinning formation. An unparalleled fist radiance shot out, and a force of more than 200 million Jin exploded the air, causing the airflow to surge and bombarding the gyratory formation with incomparable force. Kacha! After receiving the black god ant's punch, cracks appeared on the formation. The terrifying force caused more than 10 experts from Xingluo Heaven City to vomit blood. They were in great pain. Earthquake technique. The black god ant's black, tower-like body exploded with terrifying demonic energy. It attacked the heavily injured experts from Xingluo Heaven City at a speed of hundreds of times per second. Pum flowers of blood bloomed in midair. After being attacked by the earthquake technique, more than 10 experts from Xingluo Heaven City cried out in pain. Their bodies exploded in midair and they died on the spot. The scene of the black god ant killing the experts from Xingluo Heaven City also shocked the experts from Xingluo Heaven City. For a moment, no one dared to approach it. "Wendy, let's enter the city." After Kong Sungqin and the others entered the city, Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy also flew into Xingluo Heaven City. When the sky exterminating formation was fully activated, it did not need Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy to control it. It could attack on its own, making it impossible for Sha Tianya to use the sky exterminating formation to attack Yi Qinfeng and the others. Kong Sungqin by Feng. "Zhang Biyue, you really want to gamble everything and fight to the death with me, Xingluo Heaven City? Do you know that if you lose, there will be no place for your 3 great clans in the Xingluo continent?" Sha Tianya, who was wearing a star-patterned robe and had his hands behind his back, coldly looked at Kong Sungqin and the others and coldly threatened them. "Sha Tianya, from the moment you, Xingluo Heaven City, secretly colluded with the True Demon Clan and attacked our 3 great clans, you became our mortal enemy. If it were not for our good luck, we would have been annihilated." Bai Feng looked at Sha, Tianya with hatred and said in a low voice, "Let's not talk too much. In today's battle, either you die or I die." Tianya revealed an enigmatic smile and said, "I don't know if you've heard of the saying, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Perhaps the ending won't be what you imagined." As soon as Tianya's voice fell, Kong Sungchin and the others' faces slightly changed. But when they thought of the person behind Yi Qinfeng, the uneasiness in their hearts disappeared. Tianya, don't you think you talk too much?" Yi Qinfeng stepped on the void and walked over step by step. He said in an overbearing manner, "Usually only people with a guilty conscience talk too much. So you are scared?" Tianya laughed loudly and said, "You are just a bunch of mobs. You can't make me scared. Forget it. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish." As he spoke, a huge shadow appeared in the sky above Xingluo Heaven City. An ancient staircase engraved with ancient patterns broke through the thick clouds and appeared. 9 levels of heaven staircase. Looking at the staircase that appeared in the sky, Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly. When he first climbed the 9 levels of heaven staircase, he felt that the 9 levels of heaven staircase was an extremely powerful treasure. But he did not expect Tianya to have the ability to summon the 9 levels of heaven staircase to attack. "Back off, everyone back off." Feeling the destructive power of the 9 levels of heaven staircase, Kong Sungchin, Bai Feng, and the others' faces changed greatly. They immediately ordered their masters to back off. "No need to back off. Let me send you to hell." As he spoke, Tianya controlled the 9 levels of heaven staircase that was suspended in midair to descend. With the power to destroy everything, it suppressed Yi Qinfeng and the others, wanting to crush them into minced meat. Ao under the suppression of the 9 levels of heaven staircase, the black god ant let out an earth-shattering roar and transformed into its huge body. With a strength of more than 200 million jin, it directly faced the 9 levels of heaven's staircase. Boom, boom, boom. The 9 levels of heaven's staircase suppressed the black god ant's body, causing a huge explosion. The terrifying power directly pierced through the black god ant's body and suppressed it, causing it to fall to the ground. Divine demon bloodline, seeing that the black god ant could not withstand the suppression of the 9 levels of heaven's staircase, Yi Qinfeng did not hesitate to transform into his divine demon body. He erupted with a strength of 150 million jin and resisted the 9 levels of heaven's staircase. Under the attack of Yi Qinfeng and the black god ant, the mountain-like 9 levels of heaven's staircase was forcibly resisted. A terrifying power spread out from the 9 levels of heaven's staircase. It was like a dancing snake that tore through the void. What should they do? After witnessing the power of the 9 levels of heaven's staircase, Kong Sungchin and the others' faces changed. The foundation of Xingluo Heaven City was far beyond their imagination. Their trump cards were unable to withstand the 9 levels of heaven's staircase. "Do you think you can withstand it?" Tianya revealed a sinister smile. His entire body suddenly rose up and appeared on the 9 levels of heaven's staircase. He spat out a large amount of blood and fused it with the 9 levels of heaven's staircase, activating the power of this treasure. The 9 levels of heaven's staircase would suppress them to death. Tianya revealed a sinister expression. He continuously increased the suppression of the 9 levels of heaven's staircase, ruthlessly suppressing Yi Qinfeng and the black god ant. He wanted to suppress them to death. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 981. Pu Pui Qinfeng spat out several mouthfuls of blood under the full suppression of the 9th level heaven stair. His arms, which were supporting the 9th level heaven stair, cracked, and a large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, Test Yi Qinfeng, seeing that Yi Qinfeng's arms were injured and he was coughing up blood. Xia, Wendy's heart clenched. Without the slightest hesitation, she took out the command medallion that Luo Xin had given her and was about to crush it to save Yi Qinfeng. Suddenly, a ray of light that was even more dazzling than the sun shone. With a speed that was more than 10 times faster than the speed of light, it bombarded the 9th level. Rumble, 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 the 9th level was attacked by this white ray of light and trembled violently. The suppressive force that surged out from the 9th level was constantly breaking apart, greatly reducing the pressure on Yi Qinfeng and the Black God Ant Xingluo Skywall. Xingluo Skywall actually took the initiative to attack the 9th level. Seeing the Xingluo Skywall take the initiative to attack the 9th level, the people who didn't know the truth were all dumbfounded. They couldn't understand why this would happen. Senior Star Emperor's clone really made a move. Yi Qinfeng dared to attack Xingluo Sky City because of 2 reasons. One of them was the human race's guardian, Luo Xin, and the other was the Star Emperor's clone in Xingluo Skywall. When he saw the Star Emperor's clone make a move, he knew that he had made the right bet. With the help of the Star Emperor's clone, even if Luo Xin didn't appear, he still had the ability to destroy the Heaven Race's inheritance and kill Sha Tinya to avenge the 8 Slaughter Battle Emperor. You really couldn't help but make a move. Sha Tinya looked at the beam of light that attacked the 9th level and shattered the suppressive force of Xingluo Sky Wall. His expression became extremely ugly. As the old city lord of Xingluo Sky City, Sha Tinya knew the secret of Xingluo Sky Wall. He also knew that the Star Emperor's strongest clone was hidden in Xingluo Sky Wall's 9-layer space. He wanted to destroy the Star Emperor's second clone more than once, but he failed every time. After the first attack, the Heavenly Star Bulwark, which was flowing with white light, shot out another beam of light that bombarded the 9 levels of the Heavenly Staircase. It forcibly shook the 9 levels of the Heavenly Staircase and resolved the crisis that Yi Qinfeng and the Black God Ant were in. Leave the 9th level, I'll deal with it. A vigorous voice resounded in the Heavenly Starry Wall, shaking the 9 heavens and spreading for thousands of miles. In the next moment, there was a loud cracking sound as the Heavenly Star Wall broke away from the main body and smashed into the 9th level of the Heaven Staircase. Boom! The 2 supreme treasures collided with each other like 2 meteorites, and the resulting explosion of power covered the entire void. While the Heavenly Star Wall and the 9 heavenly stairs clashed, Yi Qinfeng summoned Qinggu Qiu, the spirit fish, the king of slaughter, and Fu Qingshan. Sha Tinya, we will settle our old and new grudges today. I will kill you to take revenge for the 8 Slaughter Battle Emperor. Although Sha Tinya was the most powerful, Yi Qinfeng did not retreat in order to take revenge for the 8 Slaughter Battle Emperor. Instead, he attacked with the Emperor Heaven Sword. When the 8 Slaughter Battle Emperor heard Yi Qinfeng's roar, Sha Tinya's heart was in turmoil. He stared at Yi Qinfeng and roared, "Who are you?" Sha Tinya was not the only one who was shocked by the name of the 8 Slaughter Battle Emperor. Lian Xing was also in disbelief. She had already forgotten how long it had been since she heard this name. She also did not expect that Yi Qinfeng would be related to the 8 Slaughter Battle Emperor, the person who will kill you. With that, Yi Qinfeng's attack speed increased again. The Emperor Heaven's sword was like a bolt of lightning that pierced through the heavens. It pierced towards Sha Tinya's throat, wanting to pierce through it. Just as the incomparably sharp Di Tian sword pierced through Sha Tinya's throat, the ancient stars that were flickering with starlight shot out of Sha Tinya's mouth and blocked Yi Qinfeng's fatal strike. In the next moment, the heaven-suppressing orb that had been passed down for countless years appeared on his forehead. The power of the Heaven City surged into his body and continuously increased his strength. I really did not expect that you would be related to the 8 Slaughter Battle Emperor. However, you are still far from being able to take revenge for him. With that, Sha Tinya sent out a palm strike towards Yi Qinfeng. It caused the air to explode and forced Yi Qinfeng to retreat. Yi Qinfeng, let me help you. The tall and beautiful Xia Wendy's body flashed and appeared beside Yi Qinfeng. She merged with the power of the three-legged golden crow and fought alongside him. Lianxing, Bingyun, do not show any mercy. Use the power of the Heaven City to kill them. Sha Tinya shouted towards the slightly pale Lianxing and Sha Bingyun, whose face was filled with hatred. Xingluo Heaven City's power, strengthen me. Sha Bingyun knew that today's battle was a matter of life and death. She did not hesitate to merge with the power of the Xingluo Heaven City to increase her strength. On the other hand, Lianxing seemed to be deep in thought. No one knew what she was thinking. Lianxing, if you don't want to see us die and the foundation we've painstakingly built over the past 10,000 years be destroyed, then use your full strength. If we lose today, there will be no place for us on the star Luo continent. Sha Tinya's expression became extremely unsightly as he looked at the restless Lianxing sigh. Lianxing sighed softly and used the power of the heaven-suppressing orb to merge with the power of the Xingluo Heaven City. The instant she merged with the power of the Heaven City and increased her strength, the tall and sturdy black god and suddenly approached her and punched her. The punch, which had a force of over 100 million jin, pushed her back several hundred meters. If not for the fact that the power of the Xingluo Heaven City helped her neutralize the majority of the attack, the Black God Ant's punch would have destroyed her body. When the Black God Ant sent Lianxing flying, Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy joined hands and attacked Sha Tinya. Qinggu Qiao, who had inherited part of the Tian clan's inheritance, ignited his heavenly bloodline and used the flying snow sword to challenge Sha Bingyun, who had reached the peak of level 6 combat beast emperor. The three strongest warriors were entangled by Yi Qinfeng and the others. Under the leadership of Jiang Xingqin and the other two level 6 beast emperors, the Jiang, Bai, and Jasper Palace warriors were like wolves in a flock of sheep as they slaughtered crazily. Although Pajun and Rintu were among the top 10 rankers in the star field, they were not disciples of Xing Luo Tian City, so they didn't lend a helping hand. Instead, they stood aside and watched. On the other hand, Yu Feng, Blade Demon, and Xie Jian Zueying raised their strength to the peak and wanted to help the experts of the Xingluo Heaven City. Where do you think you're going? Pei Jun's body flashed as he blocked Yu Feng and the other three. He pointed his heavy meteor hammer at them and said, domineeringly, Pejun, we won't blame you if you don't help us. But if you dare to stop us, don't blame us for being impolite. Yu Feng warned angrily as he looked at Pejun, who was blocking them with an ugly expression. Haha, with just you. Pejun laughed loudly and said arrogantly. After saying that, Pejun released a shocking power and launched a fierce attack at Yu Feng and the other three. Sigh, looks like Xingluo Heaven City's time is really up. Witnessing the scene where Pejun suddenly attacked Yu Feng and the others, the purple golden-armored butcher guessed Pejun's identity. After hesitating for a while, he appeared beside Pejun with a dragon head broadsword in his hand. Together, they launched a ferocious attack at Yu Feng and the others, completely suppressing their attacks. Boom! When the chaotic battle was getting more and more intense, an earth-shattering explosion was heard. Xingluo Heaven's wall and 9 heavenly stairs that had collided countless times could not bear the pressure and broke apart at the same time. The terrifying power caused the void to collapse, as if the end of the world had arrived. The official WeChat account still needs more than 600 people to update. Everyone add me. WeChat account address, YLTY83 mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 982. An earth-shattering explosion occurred in the sky, shattering the sky-covering array. At the same time, several Xingluo Heaven City experts lost their lives under the ferocious attacks of the 3 major clans. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test Sha Tinya's meticulously trained experts lost their lives one after another, but it did not affect him in the slightest. He continued to display powerful Dao techniques, ferociously attacking Yi Qinfeng and Xiao Wendy, suppressing their attacks. Slaughter, doppelganger sword, puppet faintly unable to withstand Sha Tianya's ferocious attacks. Yi Qinfeng and Xiao Wendy summoned their doppelgangers one after another, besieging Sha Tianya. Although the sword puppet strength was greatly reduced without the sky crystal, its indestructible body became a natural barrier, constantly neutralizing Sha Tianya's killer moves. 6 styles of thunder stare shocking, will of the way exploded from Sha Tianya's body. It merged with the power of the Sky City and formed an earth-shattering power of the star thunder. It was like a violent tidal wave that blasted towards Yi Qinfeng and Yi Qinfeng. Star Dao diagram, life and death Dao diagram. The dazzling Milky Way like wind and thunder surged over, but Xia Wendy did not retreat. Instead, she pushed her star Dao intent and life and death Dao intent to the extreme, transforming them into 2 Dao diagrams, which blasted into the 6 styles of thunder star, constantly tearing apart the wind and thunder tide. Following that, Xia Wendy's body shone with starlight as she continuously slashed out 9 starlight swords, relying on her absolute attack to break Sha Tianya's killer move. 9 starlight swords. You're a member of the Xia clan? Sha Tianya raised his eyebrows, guessing Xia Wendy's identity through her Dao techniques. You're right. Under Xia Wendy's control, the 4 beast flags transformed into a desolate beast, letting out a gut-wrenching roar as it opened its bloody mouth to bite Sha Tianya. When Sha Tianya relied on his absolute strength to shatter the 4 beast flags, Yi Qinfeng slashed out the boundless heavenly sword, slashing towards Sha Tianya's body. As the sword slashed out, Dao intent erupted, revolving around the tip of the boundless heavenly sword. It was as if the boundless Dao evolved from heaven and earth, slashing towards Sha Tianya's chest, forcibly interrupting his continuous attack. Heavenly Mountain, Dao, Talisman. Sha Tianya was forced to retreat. Xiao Wendy, with great tacit understanding, shot out the Heavenly Mountain Dao Talisman from the Gu Dao treasure. It pressed down on Sha Tianya like a mountain, continuing to shake his body. Heavenly Dazzling Thousand Sword Technique. Sha Tianya wielded the sword of slaughter and stabbed out dozens of times in an instant, transforming into dazzling swords of light that continuously slashed at the Sky Mountain Dao Talisman descending from the sky, forcibly repelling it. Suzaku Ding with a thought from Yi Qinfeng. The vermilion bird cauldron flew out of his body. As Yi Qinfeng spat out a mouthful of blood essence into the vermilion bird cauldron, the vermilion bird soul within the vermilion bird cauldron came to life, increasing the offensive power of the vermilion bird cauldron. The vermilion bird cauldron slammed towards Sha Tianya with a long fiery tail. Bang! The vermilion bird cauldron collided with Sha Tianya's Gu Fanqing, and a deafening explosion resounded through the skies. Horizontal sword slash. At the instant when the 2 Gu Dao treasure collided, Yi Qinfeng relied on his powerful physical body to withstand the destructive impact. He stabbed out with extreme speed, piercing through the air towards Sha Tianya's chest. When Sha Tianya sensed how terrifying the sword was and wanted to dodge, a strong dizziness surged into his soul sea, causing his reaction to become slightly sluggish. Chi, the sound of flesh being pierced, could be heard. The Emperor Heaven's sword directly pierced into his chest, stabbing towards his heart, wanting to pierce through his chest. However, when the Emperor Heaven's sword, with its astonishing offensive power, pierced into Sha Tianya's chest, it was blocked by a strong force. Even with the sharpness of the Emperor Heaven's sword, it was unable to pierce through. Sword Soul fuse. With his attack blocked, Yi Qinfeng immediately fused his sword soul into the Emperor Heaven's sword, increasing the offensive power of this sword to the greatest extent. He attacked with all his strength. At this critical moment, Sha Tianya's hands moved slowly like flowing water. The terrifying power of the Heaven City surged out and ruthlessly struck towards Yi Qinfeng. Although Yi Qinfeng's physical body was comparable to a mid-grade Dao artifact, he did not dare to take Sha Tianya's attack head-on. Just as he summoned his universe sword array to defend, Sha Tianya quickly retreated, escaping this calamity. Star God Strike. When Sha Tianya was dodging, Xia Wendy mysteriously appeared in front of Sha Tianya's dodging trajectory. Her Star God bloodline was ignited, and a terrifying Star God shadow appeared on her body, launching a killing blow toward Sha Tianya. Bang! Sha Tianya, who could not dodge in time, was ruthlessly struck by the Star God Strike. His body's defense was broken, and his entire body smashed into the ground like a cannonball, creating a large hole in the ground. Many Xingluo Heaven City experts were dumbfounded when they saw Sha Tianya, the mainstay of Xingluo Heaven City, being injured by Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy. This moment of distraction allowed Kong Sungqin and the others to seize the opportunity and heavily injure Sha Tianya, completely taking control of the situation. Father, seeing Sha Tianya injured, Sha Bingyun, who was fiercely fighting with Qinggu Qiu, was also distracted. In a battle between experts, even the slightest mistake could lead to defeat. Blue Sky Seal. Qinggu Qiu did not waste this excellent opportunity. Surging heavenly power turned into a green ancient seal, which contained unparalleled destructive power and boundless heavenly power, and bombarded Sha Bingyun. Sensing danger, Sha Bingyun instinctively defended against the terrifying Blue Sky Seal. After the first attack, Qinggu Qiu followed up with another attack. He circulated the Blue Sky secret art to the extreme, and ferocious attacks came one after another, giving Sha Bingyun no chance to catch her breath. Under his ferocious attacks, Sha Bingyun's offense was suppressed, and she was forced to retreat step by step. A stream of blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. Lian Xing's situation was even more dangerous. She had merged with Xingluo Heaven City's power. Although she was close to nirvana, she was far from being a match for the Black God Ant. The blood that spurted from her mouth had already dyed her clothes red. If not for Xingluo Heaven City's power continuously flowing into her body, she would have already lost the ability to fight and been killed by the Black God and Sha Tianya. Your situation is over. Obediently accept your death. After taking control of the situation, Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy continued to launch ferocious attacks at Sha Tianya. In order to kill him in one fell swoop, Yi Qinfeng summoned the Cosmos Sword Array and merged his sword soul into it. He controlled the Cosmos Sword Array to attack Sha Tianya, wanting to kill him in one fell swoop to avenge the 8 Sha War Emperor. Chi under the attacks of the Cosmos Sword Array and the 2 Dao diagrams, Sha Tianya's offense was completely disintegrated. The sharp sword light pierced through his body, causing his injuries to worsen. Gu Fanqing's secret art despite being in danger. Sha Tianya clenched his teeth and persisted. He continuously merged the power of Heaven City into his body, turning it into a huge star that forcefully tore apart the Cosmos Sword Array. Dragon's bloodline ignition. True dragon transformation. Seeing that Sha Tianya had borrowed the power of Heaven City to tear apart the Cosmos Sword Array, Yi Qinfeng decisively ignited his dragon's bloodline ignition, increasing his soul power by 7 times. He transformed into a true dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws, fiercely crashing into Gu Fanqing, who was under immense pressure. Boom! The terrifying true dragon directly broke through the ancient star patterns and tore apart Sha Tianya's defense. It fiercely slammed into his body, causing him to fall from the sky to the ground once again. It's over. Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy both used their ultimate moves to kill Sha Tianya. They wanted to take his life while he was down. You want to kill me? Try again in your next life. Sha Tianya roared and took out a fist-sized, pitch-black ball of light that was sealed with a large number of forbidden runes. He used it to block the incoming Dao skills. When the forbidden runes on the ball of light were about to be torn apart by Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy's ultimate move, Sha Tianya used his bloodied hands to crush the ball of light. A vast soul-guiding power spread out and sealed the void. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 983. Look, there's a graveyard in the sky. Heavens, what's going on? Why is there such a phenomenon at such a critical moment? Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test looking at the graveyard that appeared strangely in the sky due to the soul guidance's power. The spectators who were hiding in the distance widened their eyes in shock. Heavenly tomb. Why did the heavenly tomb appear? Could it be that there are more celestial souls in the heavenly tomb? Although the Luo Xin avatar killed the strongest Empyrean soul, the heavenly tomb was extremely vast. It was very likely that there were other celestial souls in it. This made Yi Qinfeng feel a little troubled. Hei Yan, in Xingluo Heavenly City. I am the heavens, the only ruler. Here, no one can shake me. Today, I'll let you experience the true terror of Xingluo Heavenly City. Sha Tianya, who was covered in blood and heavily injured, revealed a sinister expression. He controlled the soul guidance's power to open the heavenly tomb that appeared strangely. In the next moment, Sha Tianya ignited a large amount of blood and used his own blood as a guide to forcefully summon the celestial souls in the heavenly tomb to help him. Xia Wendy, we have to stop him quickly. Don't let him summon the celestial souls. Otherwise, our lives will be in danger. Seeing Sha Tianya's blood continuously pouring into the heavenly tomb, Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy immediately launched an attack at Sha Tianya. They wanted to destroy him and stop him from summoning the celestial souls. 2 late streams of death energy fell from the heavenly tomb like a silver river falling down, attacking Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy. Cosmos Sword Formation. Combined Yi Qinfeng moved his hands and controlled the 18 spinning cosmos swords to merge together, forming a huge sword that could split heaven and earth. It carried the power of heaven and earth as it slashed towards the descending streams of death energy. Xia Wendy also launched a sure kill attack at this moment. The star god projection flashed, and the power of Tao intent reached the limit. The star Tao diagram and the life and death Tao diagram struck out consecutively. Boom, boom, the cosmos sword and the 2 Tao diagrams struck the descending streams of death energy. The terrifying power directly blasted a huge hole in the streams of death energy and bombarded Sha Tianya. But at this moment, more death energy descended like a violent waterfall, directly shattering the killing moves unleashed by Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy. Heroic spirits, the human clan wants to destroy the inheritance of my Tian clan. I ask the heroic spirits to protect the inheritance of my Tian clan, kill the strong enemies, and protect the inheritance of my Tian clan for thousands of years. Sha Tianya yelled out piously as he released his powerful blood chi. Woo, 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 a series of bone-chilling cries rang out. Under the attraction of the soul guide power and blood chi power, 3 terrifyingly powerful celestial ray souls broke out of the heavenly tomb and appeared in the heavenly starry sky city. The soul of the Tian clan. How could there be such a terrifying existence in Xingluo Heavenly City? What secrets were hidden here? And what was the inheritance of the Tian clan? I thought that Xingluo Sky City was going to change, but now it seems that the losers are the 3 great families. Many people didn't know the secrets of Xingluo Sky City, and they didn't know that the inheritance of the Xingluo Sky City came from the Tian clan. Sensing the terror of the 3 souls of the Tian clan that flew out of the sky tomb, they were all stunned. Kong Sungchin, Bai Feng, and the others who had the absolute advantage and were basically in control of the situation, also revealed serious expressions. Although they hadn't fought, they could feel a deep sense of danger from the three souls of the Tian clan. The appearance of the three souls of the Tian clan had changed the situation, putting them in danger. Boom, 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 thunderous explosions rang out in the air. The three souls of the Tian clan released a terrifying soul energy that bombarded Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy, directly dispersing their attacks and sending them flying. Master, be careful! The black god ant saw that Xia Wendy was in danger and decisively gave up on killing Lianxing. It flew towards Xia Wendy with a monstrous demonic aura and blocked in front of her, helping her dissolve the killing move of the three souls of the Tian clan. So strong, these three souls of the Tian clan were so strong when they were alive. They definitely surpassed me. Seeing the terror of the three souls of the Tian clan, the black god ant, whose demonic aura was surging within its body, revealed a grave expression. With its strength, it could only deal with one soul of the Tian clan at most. If it was surrounded by three souls of the Tian clan at the same time, it would be doomed. Hey Yen! You were able to force out the ancient secret of Xingluo Sky City. Even if you die, you can be proud. Seeing the appearance of the three souls of the Tian clan that had instantly turned the situation around and intimidated everyone, Sha Tianya revealed a sinister expression. You want to turn the situation around with just three souls of the Tian clan? You're too naive. Xia Wendy coldly snorted and took out the medallion that the Luo Shen had given her. In this dangerous situation, Xia Wendy had no choice but to use this trump card to deal with the three souls of the Tian clan. Pa! A crisp cracking sound rang out as Xia Wendy crushed the medallion. A powerful energy spread out from the medallion and turned into the Luo Shen's soul avatar. It wore an ancient Taoist robe and possessed unfathomable strength. It's you! Seeing the Luo Shen's aged face, the three souls of the Tian clan immediately recognized him. They revealed a surprised expression and did not dare to approach him. You three souls of the Tian clan, why did you come out to stir up trouble instead of staying in the Tianling cemetery? The Luo Shen's avatar coldly looked at the three souls of the Tian clan and spoke with killing intent. Old thing, you want to threaten our lives with just a remnant soul? The three souls of the Tian clan were arrogant. Although they were a little apprehensive of the Luo Shen's avatar's strength, they did not retreat. It's enough to kill you. As he spoke, the Luo Shen's avatar took a step forward and appeared in front of the three souls of the Tian clan like an illusory shadow. A large amount of Tao intent surged out of his body like starlight and launched a fierce attack at them. Although it was just an avatar, the Luo Shen's avatar strength was beyond everyone's imagination. With a raise of his hand, the Tian clan's soul was sent flying. Father, who is this old Taoist? After seeing the Luo Shen's avatar fight the three souls of the Tian clan, Sha Bingyin, who had retreated to Sha Tianya's side, bit her lip and spoke with heavy injuries. Not only her, but even Sha Tianya did not expect that Yi Qinfeng's side would have such a trump card. He did not know. He had never seen this person before. The Luo Shen had not appeared for several tens of thousands of years. Thus, Sha Tianya and Lianxing had never seen him before and did not know his identity. Father, if the 9th level of the heaven staircase shatters and the three souls of the Tian clan are defeated, do we still have anything to rely on? Sha Bingyin originally thought that with the appearance of the three souls of the Tian clan, the situation would immediately turn around. However, reality gave her a heavy blow, causing her to feel uneasy. Don't worry, the Tian clan will not let their inheritance be destroyed. The one who has the last laugh will definitely be us, Sha Tianya. A murderous light flashed in his eyes as he glanced at Lianxing and Sha Bingyin. Senior, we'll help you. Yi Qinfeng was not sure if the Luo Shen's avatar would appear. Thus, his avatar was his strongest trump card. In order to prevent any accidents, Yi Qinfeng, Xia Wendy, Qinggu Qiu, and the Black God Ant rushed forward to help the Luo Shen's avatar deal with the souls of the Tian clan. They wanted to kill them as soon as possible and take control of the situation. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 984. Alright, let's end this quickly. The Luo Shun clone nodded. A large amount of will of Tao continued to condense into various forms of attacks, attacking the divine clan soul, who was the strongest, and suppressing his attacks. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement test. Master, be careful! The black god ant warned as he transformed into his most powerful battle form. Astonishing power erupted from his body as he charged toward one of the divine race souls and engaged in a fierce battle. Let's go! Yi Qinfeng and the others didn't hesitate either. They all ignited their bloodline power and attacked the last divine race soul, whose power was comparable to Nirvana's. Blue sky seal as Yi Qinfeng and the others closed in. The divine race soul opened its mouth and spat out a seal of light. The seal was like a towering mountain as it crashed into the divine race soul. Although Yi Qinfeng and Qinggu Qiu had both cultivated the green sky technique and formed the blue sky seal, their blue sky seal was far inferior to the blue sky seal formed by the divine race soul. Sword puppet. When Yi Qinfeng saw that the mountain-like clear sky seal was about to strike him, he summoned the sword spirit puppet and used its indestructible body to take on the clear sky seal. Boom! The blue sky seal struck the sword puppet, instantly depleting half of its energy. Terrifying explosive power exploded on the sword puppet's body and forced it back. Boundless heavenly sword strike of the star, god myriad Tao swords, as one seizing the opportunity when the sword spirit puppet was clashing head-on with the blue heaven seal. Yi Qinfeng and the other two raised the power of their Tao wills to the limit and executed their killing moves. Like meteors falling to the ground, they attacked the divine soul. The terrifying might was like a boundless ocean, blotting out the sky and covering the sun. It ruthlessly smashed into the soul of the Tian clan, forcefully causing cracks to appear on his body. Puny humans, I'll devour you! With its body injured, the divine race soul immediately went berserk. It borrowed the power of the heavenly tomb to repair the cracks on its body. It then unleashed its most powerful attack toward Yi Qinfeng and the others. Purple beginnings, lightning was the nemesis of all souls. Yi Qinfeng immediately unleashed his purple beginnings, lightning, in response to the divine race soul's attack. Violent holy lightning gushed out of his body, transforming into a giant lightning dragon. Thunder roared, and its might spread out in all directions, shaking the entire space. Heavenly Tao, Disk, the Celestial's soul grew serious. It immediately mobilized the power of the heavens to form a disk of heavenly Tao. It forcefully blocked the lightning dragon and continuously shredded it. Vermilion bird heavenly mountain, Tao, talisman de Pelgamerdamunic, puppet. When the soul of the celestial race clashed head-on with the holy thunder of purple beginnings, Yi Qinfeng and the other two unleashed their killing moves one after another. They attacked the twisting void, causing space to blur, and the heavenly Tao disk, wanting to destroy it. Boom! 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 Terrifying explosions rang out incessantly. The shock waves from the explosions were like the wrath of a god. They spread out in all directions, causing cracks to appear on the ancient walls of Xingluo Heavenly City. Seeing that the heavenly Tao compass was unable to withstand the ferocious attacks of Yi Qinfeng and the others, the heavenly race's soul borrowed the power of the heavenly tomb and suddenly exerted its strength. It pushed against the two great ancient Tao treasures, and two terrifying clones closed in on Yi Qinfeng and the others. Boom! In the next moment, the heavenly Tao disk exploded. A terrifying explosive force blasted toward Yi Qinfeng and the others. Although Yi Qinfeng and the others managed to dodge in time, they were still injured by the heavenly Tao disk's explosion. Apart from Yi Qinfeng, Xia Wendy and Qinggu Qiu's bodies were injured to varying degrees. large amounts of blood spurted out from their mouths. Blood demon diagram, although Yi Qinfeng and the others' talents were unprecedented. They were still no match for the divine race soul with Nirvana's strength. Yi Qinfeng quickly summoned the blood demon diagram, using this evil artifact to forcefully increase his strength. Let's go. Kill Qinggu Qiu first, then He Yan. Sha Tianya and the other two stabilized their injuries and attacked Yi Qinfeng and the others together. They wanted to take advantage of their experience to kill Qinggu Qiu, who was relatively weaker. When Sha Tianya and the others approached with the power of Xingluo Heavenly City, Kong Sungqin and the others intercepted them. Using their Dao treasures, they launched attacks at Sha Tianya and the others, diverting their attention and preventing them from approaching Yi Qinfeng and the others. Courting death. Sha Tinya's eyes were filled with murderous intent. The 6 styles of Thunderstar surged madly, crushing the attacks of Kong Sungqin and the others, forcing them to retreat. However, Kong Sungqin and the others had lived for more than 10,000 years. They had many trump cards. Coupled with the fact that they were level 6 combat beast emperors, they were able to resist the 6 styles of Thunderstar for a while. Defeating armies, who do you think will have the last laugh? Although Rin Tu chose Yi Qinfeng's side at the last moment and joined forces with defeating armies to heavily injure Yu Feng and the others, he never expected that Xingluo Heavenly City would have so many secrets. Seeing the chaotic situation before him, he felt a trace of unease, because he knew that if he chose the wrong side, what awaited him would be death. Victory for the human race's legacy-defeating armies looked at the people who were fighting fiercely with a deep gaze and spat out these words. Why did things develop to this extent? Rin Tu sighed softly. He regretted his rashness just now, which led to him cutting off his own path of retreat. After fusing with the power of the blood demon diagram, Yi Qinfeng's strength rose sharply, reaching level 5 combat beast emperor. However, under the influence of the evil power of the blood demon diagram, Yi Qinfeng's soul showed signs of losing control, and a terrifying evil aura erupted from his body. However, under the control of the God-Eater brain, the evil power that invaded Yi Qinfeng's mind was devoured. Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the Qiankuan sword formation and used all his strength to destroy the divine race's soul. With the strength of a level 5 combat beast emperor, Yi Qinfeng's control of the Qiankuan sword formation increased exponentially. With the help of Xia Wendi and Qinggu Qiu, the divine race's soul was gradually suppressed. Qiankuan sword formation fused into one. When the divine race's soul was suppressed, Yi Qinfeng immediately fused his sword soul into the Qiankuan sword formation. He controlled the 18 Qiankuan swords to fuse together and attacked with Xia, Wendi, and Qinggu Qiu. However, when Yi Qinfeng controlled the Qiankuan sword formation to attack with all its strength, 2 extremely fast shadows appeared, surpassing the speed of light. They held incomparably sharp killer swords and stabbed at Yi Qinfeng. At this critical moment, the 2 kings of assassins, who had been hiding all this time, made their move. They wanted to heavily injure Yi Qinfeng. The timing was perfect. Yi Qinfeng, who was controlling the Qiankuan ring, was unable to dodge, and Xia Wendi and the others were unable to save him. However, Yi Qinfeng's face did not reveal the slightest trace of panic, nor did he try to dodge. He allowed the 2 kings of assassins to stab him in the back. Qi Shi Qi's soul power defenses were broken, and the incomparably sharp killer sword stabbed into Yi Qinfeng's back, sending blood splattering through the air. However, after piercing Yi Qinfeng's skin, the 2 kings of assassins discovered that no matter how much force they exerted, their killer swords were unable to penetrate any further. Yi Qinfeng's god-fiend body, which was comparable to a high-grade Dao tool, was able to completely block the killer swords. Just as they were shocked and wanted to quickly withdraw, a terrifying force of dizziness violently blasted into their soul seas, causing them to feel slightly dizzy. Sensing the danger, They forcefully dispelled the dizziness. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng's hands quickly formed a series of hand seals. Surging Tao intent and over 100 million kilograms of power surged into the blue sky seal before crashing down on them. Boom, boom, boom. 2 resounding booms erupted. The 2 kings of assassins' bodies were blasted apart by the blue sky seal, and they died on the spot. Yi Qinfeng's domineering killing of the 2 kings of assassins stunned many people. His terrifying strength had seeped into the depths of everyone's soul. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.